Yeah, of course. All right, I'm gonna go live here. Ooh, I gotta mute. Hello, wait, am I muted? I'm muted. Hold on. Hold on. Wait, where's my? Wait. Oh no, I'm not muted. Hey. No, it is already scuffed. Hello, everybody. Hello, mechanics. It is your sparkly racing cat, Owen Aeon. How is everyone tonight? I am here tonight with my good friend Babinka Bear. Babinka, hello.
Hello. I'm like looking at your screen and I'm like, oh no, am I muted? Because I'm not lighting up, not realizing that there's a delay. The slightest of delays, the slightest of delays.
Very slight delays. I see we're running at full speed tonight. No drop frames. Woohoo! Hello,
Woo!
Matthew. Hello, Cielo. Hello, Mowo. Thank you guys so much for showing up tonight. We have a very special treat for you tonight. Not only is it a collab between myself and Binka Bear, we also have a really cool educational 90s game tonight, ArtRageous, The Amazing World of Art from 1995. This is a PC CD-ROM game that I played as a child way back in the day. I had a lot of fun with it. I thought this would be a really cool exploration of kind of like mid 90s takes on educational software, 90s like artistic, futuristic, almost like Y2K style, what people at the time thought that educational software should look like and what the future might look like, and also an exploration of art history, which is what the game is about, all art history. So
Ooh.
I'm very happy to have an art historian here to kind of guide me through our little journey through the game. So thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here. Thanks again for the invite. And when you showed me like a snippet of the game last week and it looks really cool. Plus it's like 90s Windows 95.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love
Mm-hmm.
that's like my favorite. That's my jam right there. I love it.
Totally, yeah. So tonight, are using an emulator. It's called PCEM. This is currently simulating Windows 98 SE. We're a little bit zoomed in on the desktop here because of how the resolution of the game runs, but this is the same emulator I was using last night for my Silent Steel playthrough, the other 1995 FMV game. Hello, Kuro. Hello, welcome. So we're gonna jump right into it. Or before we do that, so Binka, tell me, what is your experience with like old school PC educational software? Did you encounter a lot of that back in the day, like when you were a kid?
Yeah, definitely. I remember we had our trips to the computer lab back in elementary school and we would play Math Blaster, but
Yeah.
only for like 20 minutes and then they were like, "Okay, you could play Kid Pix
Kid
now."
Fix.
Yeah, on the old Macs. And then in my own personal computer growing up, there was those for third grade like reading stuff, but it had like a theme. I remember I specifically played one that was like ancient Egypt themed, and
Oh.
it was like learning how to read but do math, but at like a fifth grade level. And it was like, oh, this ancient Egyptian like deity needs to measure, five like five things of cloth,
Right.
and this other one needs three things of cloth. How much is that together? I don't know if
Yeah.
that's fifth grade anymore, but
Yeah,
it
yeah,
was like first grade.
that's probably like first grade. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I had Math Blaster. That was a great floppy disk game. Math Blaster. I played a lot of this game, Outrageous. I also played a lot of the Jumpstart series. So there was like Jumpstart first
Yeah.
grade, second grade, third grade. My parents were all in on this sort of like educational software thing. They were really invested in like, I guess I was privileged enough to have like a home PC, like a PC for the family, and we were definitely encouraged to like, okay, yeah, get on the computer and play educational games because that's good for your brain, right? So we
Yeah.
and the 90s were like rife with this stuff. So we had like publishers like Microsoft Home, like Microsoft themselves were invested
Yeah.
in a lot of PC educational software. So they published, of course, I think Encarta, like Encarta
Yes.
95, Encarta
Mhm.
98.
100%.
So I played like Encarta. They also had like, I don't know, this one game called like Explorapedia, where it's like you have these like
Ooh.
these biomes, basically, like you can go to the city or you can go to the jungle, and it's a lot of like clicking around on the screen, and the animals make noises and you learn different things about the world, and it was just like
Oh, nice.
so many just like really interesting things. And like the Carmen Sandiego games, I don't know, I could go on
Yeah.
forever about 90s 90s
Yeah.
educational games. So
One thing that I wanna mention too is that, Humongous Entertainment was a big one, and
mm,
I think I never realized this, but I remember seeing, like, a video essay on how, like, it isn't, how do I say this? Explicitly educational, where it teaches you math and reading, but it's more so like a kid-oriented game where you could just click things and
Okay.
something will happen in the background, right? And it's more of like teaching kids kind of just curiosity and that
Right.
you don't have to just learn 1 plus 1. You can also learn like, oh, like if I click on this one little thing, like a flower is going to bloom in this certain color, and it just encourages like that kind of like curiosity
The
in kids,
curiosity, yeah, actions and
Mhm.
reactions, seeing what happens, how things transform, right? I think the most fascinating stuff I can remember, I mean, these are just like glimpses in my brain, are just like metamorphoses, right? Like seeing like short videos of how
Mm.
like a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, you know, those sorts of
Yeah.
transitions. And like I was definitely like a library kid as a kid. Like my parents would take us to the library very often, check out half a dozen books each time we went. And it's like you got these great, you know, books for children with like cross section diagrams of machines and like, you know, pictures of animals in them. But like I think the multimedia aspect is what they were calling it in the 90s, the multimedia aspect of
Oh,
seeing like
yeah, you're
images on the
right.
screen plus sounds plus like animations, having that video on demand long before we
And
had,
knowing
yeah,
yeah,
internet.
knowing that it's interactive too,
Mhm,
that, like,
mhm.
what you do will affect what's on the screen.
Hello, Toge. Thank you for the raid. Hello, welcome, welcome.
Oh, nice.
I'm here with Babinka Bear tonight. We are doing a little we're just having an introduction right now where we go nostalgia about 90s PC games, but we are going to be jumping into an educational PC game called ArtRageous: The World of Art. So it's a bit of an art history game. So we're about to boot that up. But yeah, I know. It's just like I was so I'm not religious, but like the word blessed comes to mind. I was so blessed to like live in this
Yeah.
like 90s era where it's just like I could explore these little games that were just so much fun. So,
Oh, yeah, and they're, like, specifically for kids, right? It's not
mhm.
just like, "Oh, it's made for adults," but, kids can enjoy it. It's specifically to explore like, give kids that opportunity
Yeah, exactly.
as well.
All right, cool. All right, so shall we jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, wait. Hang on. I had to clear my throat there. My stream deck wasn't working, so I had to like do it manually. Stream deck, what are you doing? All right, here we go. Let me know if the audio is good, mechanics.
Yeah, I can hear it on my end too.
Okay. Love these 3D CG
Talking about
intros.
yeah, where like, the audience has to know every single person that was involved in the development of this. They all have their cute, like, animations
Mm-hmm.
too.
You've seen this intro, Cielo? Oh my god.
I think I mentioned during our like, test run too of, like, I remember, like, Sierra Entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Sierra
a
was
little
big.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a little guy in the logo, he'd be like, "Sierra!"
Yeah, Sierra put out a lot of great software. I have a few CDs from them still.
Mhm. It passed already, but I also couldn't help but notice the font, the little
Mm.
wacky font
Yep.
too.
Somewhere beyond your imagination is a
Somewhere.
world of illusion.
Yeah,
In
it's
this
like
dimension,
it's like Star
light
Wars.
defines
Yeah, I know,
space,
right?
A little, like,
colors
zooming
merge into
in.
shapes, and familiar forms become
I
distorted.
mean, this was mind-blowing as
This
a kid.
strange
seeing
world of
this.
imagery is not beyond your touch.
Oh, Cielo knows the specific
fact,
font. Joker.
It's even
Joker
closer
Man.
than you
You're
imagine.
Joker Man.
Oh, time for the intro. Hi there.
Oh, here we go.
Hi
Here we
there!
go.
Glad to see you. I'm Pim, your guide to
I'm Pim.
ArtRageous, and I've been waiting to show you the neighborhood.
Like the root beer.
Around this central
Mr.
plaza,
Pip.
you'll find everything you wanted to know about the incredible world of art. Like the magic and appeal of
God,
colors.
I love the crunchy
The
kind of
uses
graphics.
of
Oh, it's so
too.
crunchy, yeah.
Like the dithering.
Mhm.
Yeah.
New perspectives. And some old ones.
Oh god, what's happening?
Oh, Jesus.
His head is
Like
exploding.
that. You'll find out about the
Oh no!
God, this is getting
composition
kind of
of
scary.
paint.
Scuffed.
I say.
This is like the effects that you would see in like a modern
Yeah.
horror
Life of
game.
Art
Right?
neighborhood,
Yeah,
You'll
100%.
explore
It was like
how
Poppy's
artists
Playhouse or whatever.
live
Mhm.
and work, and why they create. Remember,
Oh, he's real.
This
Whoa,
isn't
he's
a
real.
museum. We want you to
I
touch
love
the
his
art,
smoking
to
jacket.
play with it. There are lots
He's
of
like
games and
Hugh
activities.
Hefner.
So, let's get started.
This is very Hugh Hefner.
See this
like,
big grey
is appropriate
obelisk
for-
behind me?
for a kid's
You can
game?
click on it for a complete roadmap of ArtRageous.
Why did they
Or,
make this up?
even more fun, you can explore on your own by clicking round the plaza
Interesting
to
that these
reach
games look
the
like they have
ArtRageous
more going on
neighborhoods.
too. That's what Momo said.
Whichever neighborhood you choose, I'll be waiting to show you around.
He's a magic man.
So the navigation in this game, for those that aren't familiar, so there was the most popular PC game at the time was called Myst. So this was a game that was made through. Excuse me, hold on. There's a bot in here.
Oh no.
Where's? I don't know what it is about the stream chat integration I have. I can't. Thank you so much, Cielo. I'll just let Cielo take care of it.
Nice.
So Myst was the most popular PC game at the time, and that was built on a system called HyperCard, and it was essentially like a slideshow where you could click through, different scenes. You could go forward, you could go backward, you could turn left and right. That's exactly what this game is. It's like a Myst clone, essentially. So
Yeah, I never realized. It is essentially a slideshow, but it does give the illusion of you going around in a 3D space.
right. So it's like I can keep going towards this perspective scene, or I can turn left here. I can go down to the life of art. We can go to a database, which I think is like the index for the game, where you can just kind of hop around between paintings. We have color, so the world of color.
Gosh, these 3D models.
I know, they're so cool, these pre-rendered 3D. I mean, man, I was such a sucker for 3D, pre-rendered 3D. I was a big Beast Wars fan.
Oh my gosh, Beast Wars.
The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest, Reboot, all those things were I thought that was just the coolest shit. I don't know why I never went into 3D animation. I feel like that might have been me in an alternate universe.
Yeah, it's not too late either.
It's
kind of hard to. It's kind of hard to. Well, if you go into Blender, one of the first tutorials that's infamous is you learn how
The
to do a
donut.
donut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've done the donut 3 times now.
Yeah, it's once you get through it, it gets easier. But I have yet to get through it. So
Yeah.
I'm not one to talk.
I know. It's funny because I used to run a Discord. Well, I still do. I ran a Discord for a bunch of artists, and they went from all doing 2D and now they all do 3D. It's been really interesting to see that transition. Yeah. All right, so we've got composition. Let's just highlight the worlds we got here. So we got perspective, we've got the life of art, we've got our database, which I think is just the table of contents, color, composition, and light. What are you most interested in checking out?
Okay. When I usually go through kind of the elements of art, usually we start with line shapes, that kind of thing. But it doesn't seem like. So it was what? Composition, light, what else?
Composition, color, the life of art, perspective, and light.
I'm kind of curious about what's life of art.
Yeah,
Is
let's do
that
life of
just-
art. I think it might be oh god. Wait, I'm already getting lost. It's really weird to click around.
Mhm. Oh my gosh.
Whoa!
That's I was just oh, nice slideshow gives you the illusion of immersion. It's nope, they made an actual video.
They did.
You're actually in it.
What's cool here is I think you can click and you can rotate around too. So it's just oh my god, it's real.
It is real. It's an actual 3D, modeled base.
I remember playing games like this, and especially when the N64 and PlayStation were new, just kind of getting lost in worlds like this, just kind of imagining yourself as a smaller child, hanging out in a cool world. It was very immersive, I guess, true immersion. Yeah. All right, let's head.
Yeah, that's the vibe of the game. Nice. Oh wow.
Ah,
He's back.
this is
Pip.
the life.
Oh, that's a sick
the
ponytail.
life of art.
I know.
Here we have the
Really
lifestyles,
US
the artistic styles, the
Feel his
materials,
look.
and the customers. Let's start with money. In making a living, you'll see how the training, work, and customers of the artist have changed over the centuries, and how
patrons.
they still influence
Oh
what
yeah,
today's
yeah.
artist
That's
creates.
that whole medieval to Renaissance art thing right there.
What to use today? Oils, pastels, watercolors, acrylics.
Oh my gosh, he's
At
a magic
creating
man.
art, you'll see how wide an artist's choice of materials is and why it matters. What purposes do paintings serve? What's the point? And
What
why
is
do
the
people
point?
look at art?
It's funny because I
Browse
just read
through
Cielo's
why
comment. We should
art
give this game to
to
AI
find out.
bros.
Life
They
of
wouldn't
art
get it. They wouldn't
reveals the
get it.
connections between
Why
life
go through the trouble
and
of making
art.
art when you could just
To get
type it
along
in
in
your
life,
Ugh.
just click
No.
left, right, or center.
Whoa! Oh
God,
no!
even
It's
the-
defacing the
no,
Mona
they're
Lisa.
defacing. I know.
Oh my goodness. Why?
Which I've heard so many. Oh, yeah.
No,
go
sorry.
ahead.
No. You've heard what?
People say like the real like the Omega Chads of art history are like the Mona Lisa is actually kind of what's it called, overrated. That like there's better artworks that were made, but it's just that she got stolen. I think that's one of the things that like kind
Really?
of gave her infamy. Yeah.
So just by people having more knowledge of it simply made it more popular and maybe increased like critical like awareness of it is what you're saying.
Yeah, essentially. And that's not to say that like the Mona Lisa isn't like, of its own, it's not that it's bad. It's
Mhm.
just that people say, this isn't even like my opinion. Because from what I learned, like Mona Lisa was also like one of those early examples of just like portraiture that wasn't
Right.
necessarily like religious at the time. It was just a normal person.
Yeah.
So she's like an early example. She's not the first, of course, but
Right.
she's like an early example of that. But it gained further infamy by getting stolen.
Got
essentially.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
I have to imagine that like Da Vinci was like well known for his other stuff too. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was. He like if you were to go back in time and tell him that this is like his most famous work, he'd be like, really?
Really?
Sure.
Do you want to do why art, creating art, playing with art? Is there anything else? Oh, making a living. That dollar with the Venus de Milo there is very interesting. Just the peeling it back.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. We can start with why art.
Why
That
art?
would
Yeah.
sound like a good,
Let's do
good
it.
jump off point.
Welcome.
Oh wow.
question
they
here
have
is,
a bunch of like famous
Why
ones.
art? Why do we have art? What's it for? Throughout history, art has been created for a variety of purposes. Click the pictures to find out more.
Click the pictures. So we got
Click
the
on here to find out more.
was this the Death of Marat, and this is another revolution.
Yeah, I believe so. That one I'm not like super familiar with. I'm a fake fan.
It's okay.
No, there's some that I know because of the style, and then there's some that like art history professors will like nail this into your head. Like, yeah, this is important for this reason, you know. Like I see Guernica by Picasso, like in the lower left.
I see Dali down here.
Dali, good one. So whichever one you want to check out first, I'm down to like.
Let's
you know,
go
get
take
into
religious inspiration.
Yeah, that is a big one.
Ah,
In
Raphael.
Western art, one main purpose of religious works has been to arouse feelings of awe and devotion. This is Raphael's painting, The Transfiguration of Christ.
Whoa.
When Jesus
wow,
went up
they're,
on
like,
a mountain
highlighting
with
each
three of his
part.
disciples, John, James, and Peter, divine light and wind broke through the heavens, and Moses and Elijah appeared. The face and garments of Jesus shone
I
so
can't help
brightly
it does look
that
a
the
little
disciples
goofy.
were overcome by the radiance
a little
and
bit,
fell
just
to
a
the
teensy
ground,
bit.
shielding their eyes from the light.
Your chest.
Standing before this painting,
Peter!
viewers also
The
may be
horse is
inspired
here.
by the power of the divine light.
Kinda.
In the darkness of the lower part of the painting, we
That's the
see
thing
in
though
a
with
tormented
this is
world
like
cut off from
we
divinity,
will get
the
into it when we
possessed
get into
boy whom
light
the
and
apostles were
value.
unable to
It makes me laugh
save.
because like when we
Jesus
gave
returns,
the
he will
Sigma
cure
Art
the
Grind
boy.
said whatever guide to Randon, he
This
looked at
was
the word
Raphael's
value and was
last
like, "Oh, are we gonna
painting
talk about like
and was
the
the
value,
culmination
like
of
the
his
monetary
artistic
value?"
achievement. It
Oh,
was hung
that's
above
an
It's funny
interesting
because-
as he lay in
take.
state
Yeah.
after his
Right,
death.
right.
Yeah.
The value in art actually refers to light and dark.
Right.
basically.
Yeah. And
This one is excellent.
It,
with
it's
value.
so good. I mean, the lower portion here with the the source of the light and the shadows, I'm like starting to lose my words here, but like I know enough about art to be dangerous. So, but feel free to like call things out that I'm like,
Yeah. Well, that's what stands out here is like I know the topic is like, oh, it's religious, you know, and the cool thing with this, yeah, like it is a huge part of like Western art is religion. That's why like personally I really like Gothic architecture, but also just appreciating the art for art's sake.
Right.
Like look at the colors, the light, all of that kind of stuff.
Chiaroscuro, thank you.
Yeah,
Yusef,
chiaroscuro.
Gothic architecture. Are you, just as an aside, have you ever played Dead Space? The game?
I haven't. Wait. That is there connections between Gothic architecture and Dead Space?
Yes. So
I had no idea.
So Dead Space. So like, if you don't know what the game is, so it's like it's set in space, and you're like part of a repair crew that goes to like this giant mining ship, and you crash into the mining ship, and you find out like everyone's being turned into zombies. But the interior of the ship and the exterior as well is based on like massive Gothic cathedrals. So there's there's like huge swooping arches and really just like gorgeous like Gothic architecture throughout it. Yeah, so cool.
Looking this up because I've seen the game before. I've seen gameplay. What is it? The necromorphs are terrifying to me, but I had no idea.
Yeah, the flying buttresses. Yeah, there's just like so much of that in there. It's just so cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
Owen pulls out his art gun, starts blasting. My art gun is a pea shooter. It just shoots little peanuts. So cool. All right, let's what else we got here? This I want to look at this one.
Sure.
It is Rembrandt. Yeah.
Portraits have been painted throughout history for uses as varied as creating a record, showing a family what a prospective bride looked like, or to impress the public with a leader's wealth or power. This group portrait, The Night Watch, was painted by Rembrandt, the finest artist in Amsterdam in the 1600s. But not all the musketeers who appear here were happy with the result, because some faces are half hidden in shadow.
Oh.
So Rembrandt
it's
agreed
almost
to
like
let the
getting
men pay him,
what's the
according
one
to
from
how
Monsters Inc.
clearly their
again?
faces are seen. Though they felt
Where you get like
unfairly
hidden by like the sticker.
We still look at this group
Oh,
portrait
yeah.
350
I
years
remember
later
the
because of
TV ad
Rembrandt's
where
skill
Mike
in
gets his face
manipulating
covered
the
up.
light and painting.
Yeah, where you get Mike Wazowski.
Rembrandt
So
also
Get
breached
Wazowski.
it's this thing that
convention
like
by
you
showing the men
get
doing
imagine getting
something
Wazowski.
active,
It's
coming
easy
out
enough
of
to
a
get
meeting
Wazowski
onto the
in
street,
a photograph,
rather than
but
having the men
imagine in a
pose
painting.
stiffly.
There's intention
And
there.
who's that
Yeah.
little girl with the chicken
You're like,
in the
oh,
middle
F
of the
this
group?
musketeer.
She
I don't
represents
want
the
to
emblem
notice.
of the militia.
Oh, so yeah, that's one of the most fascinating things to me when I was learning more about art and art history, and it wasn't at a young age either. It was probably like my college years, where it was like, oh, a lot of these people in these paintings are like the family and friends or whomever of the person that's commissioning the work. It's not just random models. Yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of we're like kind of similar ages, but like VH1 used to have a show called like Pop Pop Video, where
Pop-up
like
video,
it would
yeah.
give you it would give you little snippets of like music videos, and it's like, oh, did you know that like this takes place in the Mississippi River and blah
Right.
blah blah. And me and Beans were watching an episode where it was like, oh, actually like all the extras in this music video are relatives or fans of this band.
Got it.
Kind of reminds me of that.
That's so cool.
And the interesting thing about what this section is saying is that like sometimes art is used to like talk about historical events that had happened.
Right.
I study a lot of like my expertise is actually in ancient art.
Got it.
And unfortunately sometimes that's our only primary source. So and people are prone to like putting biases in their artwork. So it's like, yeah, we have this really cool painting, or we have this really cool rock art or wall art or mural of like what happened, but is it what really happened?
Right. There's even I'd learned from a friend for a while that was looking into like what did medieval and like pre-medieval like armor like really look like, and it's and you may know about it, and where it's like we only have a handful of examples, like, oh, a piece of a breastplate here and a piece of a boot here. But like from certain eras in history, we honestly don't have like a full idea of like what a typical suit of armor or armor that maybe a warrior or, a king's guardsman was wearing at that point in time, simply because like we just don't have examples of it. And we can only rely on like you said, like some paintings that were painted maybe 200 or 300 years later, referencing what happened hundreds of years ago, but they may be using examples from that era. I mean, we even do this in the modern day. So just to keep tangenting, there's a movie about General Patton from World War II. The movie's called Patton, and he's like famous tank commander, and they have like famous scenes from World War II. But the tanks that they're using in the film are all like tanks from the 60s when the movie was made, or like made to kind of look like World War II tanks, but they're definitely not. So I'm thinking like, gee whiz, in like 200 years in the future, they might watch that movie and go, oh yeah, that's totally what tanks looked like in 1943. And it's like, no, not at all. You know?
Yeah,
same idea.
What Cielo said, it's anachronistic, yeah.
Is that what that word means? I've never, okay, all right, cool, got it.
Yeah, it basically means, like, I learned it in, like, in English class when we were talking about Shakespeare, because it's something like, Shakespeare will talk about, like, let's say ancient Rome.
Right.
But he'll mention things that weren't in ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Like, I think in his play about Caesar, there's a talk of, like, oh, the clock struck 12, and it's like,
they didn't have
what?
clocks.
Did what?
Right. They may have had sundials, I guess, right? Or they just look up and see where the sun is in the sky. So interesting.
And actually, last tangent, hopefully.
Yeah.
Move on. Sometimes these paintings, they actually will record something accurately, but not what is expected. And what I mean by that is I just saw a video about climate change by looking at old paintings.
Oh.
Like, there's like a team of like art historians / scholars / scientists that are actually using paintings like, you know, the Scream?
Yeah.
Edward Munch's like the Scream, where they're talking about like, oh, did they really choose like red in the sky to reflect, you know, like an afternoon sunset, or is it like something climate change, something, you know?
That's super fascinating. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let me know when you want to like move on to another room, because I feel like we might just tangent our way into like 2 hours. So.
I know.
Me finding out. Sorry, good.
The notion of the
Oh,
artist
I do love
expressing
the
his
Dolly.
own
The Dolly
personal
one, yeah.
vision and ideas
The
is a
melty
modern
clocks.
one in the history
Yeah,
of
I
art.
do love the melty clocks one.
What is
This
going
is like
on in this painting?
surrealism, and
Persistence of memory by Salvador
surrealism
Dali.
is part of like that era
Why are
of
the
it's like
watches
modern
melting?
/
What do they
getting into
represent?
contemporary art. No,
Whose
actually, so
distorted head is that?
there's a
It's hard to know
like,
whether
where do
to
I
be
rewind to?
alarmed
So
or
modern art
amused.
isn't
What is
necessarily
the artist
you might
trying
already
to
know this,
say?
but like people in the audience
He
might not.
didn't
But
explain
modern art
himself.
isn't necessarily
He said
art
only
from
that the
our
idea came
time.
to him
Okay.
while he was
Modern art
eating
is
camembert
actually from
cheese.
like I believe the 19th century to
A bizarre and
20th century.
impossible
Someone can
scene
correct me on that.
painted
Oh, this is
very
animated.
realistic.
Did
It
you see
is,
that?
yeah. I saw the
Persistence of
drip.
memory
Yeah.
is
We
an
drip
example of a
drippy clock.
surrealist
The drip,
painting.
yeah. So there's actually two terms. There's modern art, which is like a certain time period, which is basically the advent of photography up
Okay.
until I want to say the 60s.
Okay.
60s, something like that. And then everything from the 60s onward is contemporary art.
Oh, contemporary. Okay, that's good. I didn't know that that designation. I mean, so I'll tell you, I took I signed up for a college course back in college, and it was called Modern European History. And when I actually got into the course, we were talking about like Napoleon, and I was like, oh.
This isn't modern.
And I gotta tell you, I was a little bit disappointed. I was like, oh, I signed up for what I thought was going to be a cool course about like, you know, 1920 to like 1975, and it totally wasn't. So, okay.
Yep. No, that's exactly the same with like art. Like modern art is more so like advent of photography, which would be like 1890s, I want to say.
Got it.
And the reason why that is sometimes used as a marker is because once photography happened, a lot of artists were like, well, the whole point of us was to recreate what we saw.
Right.
Now this little machine can just do it for us.
Right.
So what's the point of art? And that's where you start seeing weird art.
Oh
And
my
by that I
gosh.
mean like stuff like, well, surrealism is a little bit later, but that's where you start seeing like Van Gogh, like his Starry Night.
Right.
That's a style called like post-impressionism, and when it first came out, people were like, this is trash, like this looks like a painting that's not finished, you know.
I
so,
had
like,
no idea that photography caused this like crisis in art to like inspire a new wave of things. That's so crazy.
Exactly. So surrealism comes a little bit later, but this is also in that same group of like, well, what can art do that photography can't? Oh, it can make strange things like this. But the kind of central idea behind surrealism was to portray a dream, like what, you know, all the weird stuff that happens in our dreams. Like,
Right. You can't photograph that. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's a little bit of like every single surrealist artist has their own philosophy, but like, you know, here's Dali's take on it. Like, he has the melting clocks. He does feature like ants. He had like a movie. I forgot what it was called, but the movie's kind of freaky.
Is it your kind of movie? Do you like the Freaky Dolly movie, or is it more of a curiosity?
It's a curiosity because the one that sticks out is like, you know that meme of like, oh, that's gore of my comfort character. Like,
yeah.
there's no actual gore, but there's a scene where like they hold a razor up to someone's eye, but they don't actually
that
cut
one.
into the eye. Yeah, but it cuts to a scene of a cloud cutting through a moon.
Oh.
Through the moon.
No,
Yeah.
well, I remember that famous like art house thing where it's like they hold the razor up to the eyeball and then they like cut open like a grape. Like it's not an eyeball, but like yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's similar idea of like nothing happens, but it like makes in your mind. It's like
Yeah, it's kind of like stirring your imagination. Like the what you see in your head, it can all be more horrendous than what you're seeing in front of you. Yeah.
Exactly.
So what's like do you have like a favorite surrealist painter or some kind of surreal painting that you're a fan of?
I do. Yeah, like my knee-jerk reaction is Frida Kahlo, just because like her art is very much very informed by her life experiences. Like she had a pretty rough life, and she went through. For those who don't know, like she was in a bus accident, like as a young woman, and it like impacted her like for the rest of her life. Like she had trauma because of it, but she also couldn't have kids because of her bodily injuries. So she reflected a lot of that trauma in her art. But there's also another artist who I admittedly don't know much about her life story, but I just dig the aesthetics of her art, and her name is Remedios Varo.
Ooh.
I'll type it in the chat for people who want to check out her
Yeah, please
art.
do. I want to check that out.
It's just like that is surreal. Like I've shown it to stream before, where one of them is like an owl person creating other birds just by using light.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this game also has like statistics on the paintings as well.
nice.
So it tells you like when it was made, what the name of it is, what it's oil on canvas, and where you can find it. Maybe. This was what 20 years ago, so it might be in a different museum. And then the the life of the artist as well. So we won't get too far into these because I think we want to look at the more interactive features. But yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, you can. I mean, mechanics. This is available for free. Like you can go download this game with the emulator if you want to explore this. So I might put some details up for that on my Twitter.
Of the artist.
Let's go back.
Yeah, please.
Do you want to move on, or do you want to check out any more of these?
We can move on from
Okay.
here.
Why art?
Welcome.
Oh, we already did that. Welcome. Can I go through that door? Go
We're
back?
stuck here.
I'm stuck. We're done. It's over.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just kind of trying to. I guess I need to click back here. The breadcrumb trail.
There you go. Yeah.
Creating art, playing with art, making a living.
Creating art?
Sorry, creating? Yeah, let's do it.
You've arrived at creating art.
Oh, it's the different mediums.
Artists have used a wide variety of styles and techniques to get their message across.
The dog.
Here's
It
Self-Portrait
looks a little
with Pug by William
derpy.
Hogarth. Could
The dude
Hogarth,
looks fine.
popular satirist and social critic, have been
What's funny
making
is
fun
that
of
like,
himself
artists
painting
use
is made
references
with
all
oil
the time,
paint.
but there's some
Hogarth's style is realistic
pieces where it's
and
like
direct.
it's very obvious that you didn't.
Want to
use
see
the
how
reference.
different it would look if Hogarth had used
But
different
also, like, this is not
materials
an example
or a
of that.
different
Like this,
style?
they probably did use an actual reference
Just
for
click
a
on the
dog. But
painting.
I'm trying to think of like
Or click
you look
on
at medieval
background
art
to
and how
learn
they
more.
drew things that are like not native to Europe.
Oh yeah.
Like elephants and giraffes. It's like you definitely did not use a reference.
What were their references in their brain for that? Were they like illustrations or even like carved
Sometimes
like
it's-
models or something?
Sometimes it's actually just word of mouth. Like
Really?
sometimes they would just, because for I think for giraffes in particular, the mistranslation of like the description of a giraffe, it's like a long-necked, hooved animal, right?
Right.
But if you have never seen a giraffe before, what your brain does is it compares it to other animals that you would be familiar with, and it actually resulted in a mythical creature called a questing beast.
What? I've never
look
heard
at
of
the-
this.
Yeah, it's really funny because like it's an example of like a mythical composite creature made up of different animal parts, but it's actually apparently it's from a description of a giraffe.
What the
Because
hell?
it's a creature that has like the body of a horse but the spots of a cheetah, but the feet of a horse, but the neck of a serpent, but the horns of what is it? Horns of I don't know what the horns are supposed to look like, but you know what the
Right.
horns of a giraffe look
Right,
like,
right,
right? So
right. Oh my
if
gosh.
you have never seen a giraffe before, you're creating a completely different creature. Because like if you Google questing beast, you're gonna have some kind of like weird creature. But when you look at the description, it's a giraffe. It's like that vine. I'm a giraffe.
Yeah, the thing is though, like one wrong word, right? One indescriptive word or two descriptive word, like a neck like a serpent. I mean, like you're conjuring images of like something, you know, coming
Like a
down from the
dragon.
heavens. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so same with elephants, and actually, not elephants, but rhinos are apparently like. There's a theory that that's actually the origin of unicorns. Because
Oh.
how many horns does a rhino have? It has one.
Right.
But the horn is on the nose. So when you communicate to like a medieval person who lives in Europe that has never seen a rhino before, they'll imagine like, okay, it's an amazing creature that has one single horn.
Right.
It's up to you to interpret that, and that's how somehow it got interpreted as a horse with a horn on its forehead.
So that's
Instead of,
why,
like, this huge
so that's
yeah.
why like some representations of unicorns, like the horn is like lower, like it's closer to the nose rather than like the middle of the head that we kind of associate with the modern unicorn. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh my gosh.
Oh, cool. Cielo, like, wait, was it Cielo? Yeah,
The
put
questing
a link
beast.
to
I gotta look at
Questing
this.
Beast, yeah.
I'm opening it now. Oh, what the heck? Okay, well
Yeah,
they got
right?
the spots right, and like the legs, I could kind of see it, and the tail. So it's like the tail and the coloring, but yeah, I mean it's literally like half dragon, half half
Have,
giraffe,
like,
half
cheetah,
horse, half
something,
cheetah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of halves in there. That's so
Exactly.
cool.
Exactly. But this artist, he looks like he looked at a dog and painted it. So.
Yeah, yep. Whoa, pencils.
Oh, cool.
And impressionist. I love how they shoved
That's
this
a
through some
filter.
Photoshop filters.
I
whatever
remember these
or whatever they were
filters.
using at the time, right? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
It looks like 80s. It looks like 1980s,
That's
you know,
so
like
funny.
with the sunset.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. A watercolor,
Oh my
another
God, watercolor.
Photoshop filter, or
I feel like they really could have just found an actual water.
I know they really could. Cubist. That's funny. I know what they're trying to get the point across, right? Using like the
Yeah, I
same
get it,
same
yeah.
image and engraving. That's cool. Have
Actually,
you
yeah, I feel like that's the closest.
have you done much like engraving, or I know you were talking about like lino cuts and stuff on your other stream one time. Have you done a lot of that?
No, actually, I only recently did one project that had to do with printmaking, which is essentially, for those who don't know what printmaking is, it's you're etching the design into like another surface. So like people have historically used wood, but you can also use metal. You can use something called like lino. It's like linoleum.
Linoleum,
basically.
yeah.
You can also use styrofoam. So like if I've done this for like kids before, like if you just have like a styrofoam plate or cup and you draw into it and then you put ink or paint on it and then you put it on a piece of paper, it creates a print. That's actually a really easy like project for little kids. I myself haven't done it a lot, but it's a fairly accessible.
That's such a great idea to get kids interested in printmaking, is the styrofoam thing. I never had done that even as a kid. There wasn't really a lot of talk about like print in that way for my art classes. I mean, I was very glad to have art classes in school, but like I don't remember doing anything like that. So that's really neat.
Yeah, Cielo also gave one in the chat. Pink rubber erasers. You can just carve
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah.
And, make a stamp.
Here's another tangent. So there's this. You're familiar with geocaching, right?
Oh, kind of. Is that the one where you like hide hide something and then like ask people to find it?
Yeah. So it's like like you go on a hike and then like along the hike, people will plant little geocaches, right? So it's like Tupperware containers or ammo cans, and they'll put a logbook in there. And sometimes people, what they do is in the logbook, they'll put their own stamp. So like you'll bring a stamp with you that you made. You could have carved it or ordered it or whatever, and you put like your signature in the logbook, and then you stamp your name next, or you stamp your symbol or whatever next to it. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think that stuff's really cool, like doing your own
That's
stamps.
really cool. Yeah. And yeah, it's really easy to do if you have like a rubber eraser. To list.
Pointillism. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, is
There you
that
go.
it? I think that's it for this
I believe so, yeah.
activity.
I thought they were gonna go into like, these are examples of like watercoloring, gouache,
Right,
and blah blah blah.
right.
But fine, that's fine.
You've arrived at playing with art. Uh-oh. Somebody
Oh,
ruined this
Uh-oh.
painting, Composition 3 by
Whoa.
Franz Marc. Your challenge
There we
is to
go. We got
restore it.
some interactive
Mm-hmm.
Click and drag the
activities.
pieces to where you think they belong.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll play this.
If they
Yeah, we can
fit,
play it,
they'll
and
snap
I
into
can talk a little
place.
bit. I actually don't know this piece,
I don't
Choose the level
either.
of difficulty you
but
want to try.
I could kind of see what the style they're going for.
Do you want me
Oh,
to,
do
bring up the
there's
facts to tell you like who it's
Roll
by?
your cursor over the
Sure,
painting
sure.
and click on the artifact banner to find out more.
What?
What? I'm rolling
Oh, maybe stats.
artifact.
Franz Marc,
Artifact, that's
creator
so
of Composition 3, was influenced by many trends in art. Cubism, with its reduction of forms
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say this is
geometric
Cubist.
shapes.
Do you want me to shut this guy up so you can talk about cubism or okay?
If anything,
its
can
love
you
of
click on
vibrant
stats so we
coloring.
can see who
Yeah,
the
yeah,
artist is? Yeah.
Franz Marc.
Franz Marc. Okay. Yeah, so this
Interesting.
is 1913, 1914. That makes sense. So this is after, like I said, advent of photography.
Mm-hmm.
Cubism is just basically using things like geometric shapes, but reimagining kind of our world
You've arrived.
in those shapes. But also, I think another aspect of it is
You have 70
I'm more
seconds.
familiar with like Picasso is kind of like the cubist painter, but what he oh no, there's a time limit.
It's fine. It's fine. You can keep.
Okay. I think Picasso, like, as some people say that he's overrated, as overrated as he is.
Do you think he's
I think
overrated?
he also no, I like his art. I think his art is pretty cool, and he's such a good example of like people will think that modern art is like, oh, my 9-year-old kid can do that, but the thing with it is that when Picasso was young, he was already making like photorealistic art, and
Mm.
he like by that point, like I said, advent of photography, instead of like going even more photorealistic, he was exploring like, okay, what more can I do with art that can't be done with photography?
Right.
So what Cubism did is you kind of it's fun to see the transition. He would take kind of like a human subject, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and he would paint them using shapes. But how he played with it is he would use perspective. So like if you look at someone head on, you see their two eyes, you see the nose, you see their mouth. But if you see their profile, you
Sorry,
only see
your
like the
time ran
one
out.
eye,
Try
as well
again.
as you see the your full ear. You see like the outline
have
of your
70
nose. So he asked himself, what if I could see someone front on, but also in profile view at the same time?
Whoa.
What would that
Oh
look
wow. What?
like? So
How do you do
yeah,
that?
exactly. So that's one of those things that like photography can't do. Like, well,
Huh.
technically it can. You could just take multiple pictures, but
Sure. Yeah.
but like in art, how do you put that into one image?
Right.
So that's kind of what Cubism plays with. It's not just shapes, it's also like viewing a subject in two different perspectives at the same time and almost like overlaying it on top of each other.
Got it. Wow. That's just I'm still blown away by this idea that like photography, the advent of photography is what triggered all this like we gotta
Mhm.
push this because art is dead otherwise. I mean, I can imagine
Mhm.
there's just some artists at the time just going, "Oh my god, my life is over. We gotta do something new," right?
It is like it's kind of shaky too, but people are making that comparison with like AI
Oh,
art
100%. Yeah.
nowadays. Yeah, like 100% people are making that comparison. Because like, well, the negative is that AI artists are the ones that
Congratulations.
are like,
You've
well,
restored a work of art.
like your
To
photography
find out
moment,
more about this
like
painting,
you
click
just
on
got to
the
go with the
Artifacts
flow
button.
now. But like actual artists are also saying that like, well, no, but also like yes, and like, well, now we have to figure out what can art do
You've
that
arrived
AI
at
art
playing
Right.
with art.
Right.
can't.
Uh-oh. Somebody
All right. We played the little game.
I was gonna say like you did it pretty fast.
Let's do the making a
Yeah,
living
what's making a living?
you've
Yeah,
come
let's see
to
it.
making a
and
living.
how it compares to today. Taking commissions
Oh,
Artists
online.
earn their living.
Wait, look at
How
the-
did they
look at
learn their
the
trade?
fashion.
Who bought their work? It
The
all depends on when
2000
the artist
fashion.
lived.
Love it.
Click on a figure to find out more.
And
That was pretty much my elementary / middle
Yeah.
school fashion. Yeah. kind of, sorta.
oh,
Up
monastic
until the
life.
1100s,
Oh wow.
monasteries were the centers of art. Monks learned their craft there and created religious art for the church and for royalty. Much of their
Ooh.
work
Are you,
was
you're familiar with
illustrating religious
illuminations,
books.
right?
These illustrations are called
Those are pretty cool.
illuminations. In those days, you worked for the glory
I've
of
been to a
God,
museum
not
that
personal
like not
fame.
specializes, but
And
they
so
have a
the
whole
monks
section
did
just on
not sign their
illuminations.
names to
And I
their
think
artworks.
what threw me off the most is just the size, because there are some books that are tiny. These are
Yeah.
like made to be prayer books that you can hold with you at all times, and they
Oh.
have to be tiny enough to like fit in the
Wow.
pocket. So
Yeah.
and then on the other end of the spectrum is there are some that are made to be like, you know, in a church, like on the
Right.
podium. They're humongous. So
Right.
you know, like you have different kinds of illuminations, which for those who don't know, in chat, illuminations are basically like art within like the books.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes they're like gilded,
Yeah.
and there's just like a lot of detail in them.
Yeah. And just all the different colors of inks and the gold leaf lettering and things like that. It's just so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
the
prayer,
margin guys, Yellow said, yeah.
the prayer books they made into keychains so that ladies could carry them with them on their tool sash. Whoa.
Yeah. That's how tiny some of them are.
In the 1100s, larger towns began to develop in Europe. Now the towns, rather than the monasteries, became the centers where artists were trained and artworks
this
were
is
produced.
the
The artists were organized into guilds, a
what's
lot
it called?
like
The
our
transition
trade unions
into
today.
Renaissance.
To learn your craft, you would start at the age of 12 as an apprentice to a
Because
master painter.
like the person said, like
You would learn
monasteries
how to
were kind of
clean
like the
brushes,
center of like
grind
power
pigment,
and
Right.
art.
and
So
prepare wood panels
it's
with
basically like
gesso.
you're always getting commissioned by the church and only the church. So
You never
if
worked
you made
alone.
something
You would
photorealistic,
be in a
they'd be like, "That's
workshop
not what I
surrounded
asked
by
for."
other
I asked
artists,
for,
all
like,
working
Yeah.
I
together
asked for
on the
heavy
same painting.
symbolism. You
Yeah,
know? So,
yeah,
Maybe
because
one
it was
would
more
lay on
about
the
the
gold,
message than
another would
the
paint the
than the
rose,
look, right?
The third would paint the
exactly,
faces.
exactly, and it had to be kind of like symbols
After
that
your
were
apprenticeship,
immediately
which could last as long
recognizable
as
to
6
the
years,
common
you would be
people and to the
promoted to a
church
paid
people.
assistant
And it's
called
almost I
a
like to think of it
journeyman.
as like memes.
That
Like you
didn't
kind of
mean
had
you
to
went
know the
on journeys.
memes
Mhm.
The
to
word
like
Yeah.
understand the
journée
art.
means day in French, meaning you
And
were
then
paid
by
for
this
each
point
day's
that the
work.
narrator is talking
But it
about,
was also
we're
common
getting
to
into like
travel
now
from
rich
city
families
to
and rich
city,
cities are now
working
the
for
ones
other
that are
master
your
painters
commissioners.
until
Right.
And they don't want, you know, funky looking baby Jesus.
you became a
They
master painter
they
yourself.
want
They
like
want
especially
beauty.
Church
if
and royalty were still
especially
your
because
major
like
customers.
they want beauty, but
They
also
decided the
sometimes they
subject
would
and
commission
size of the
religious
painting,
art,
Oh,
but they would
sure.
use their own
which
family
pigments you
members
could use,
Right.
as
since some
models.
pigments were
Right.
more
So if
expensive
you
than
drew
others.
baby Jesus and Mama Mary like looking weird as heck and be like, "What are you trying to say about my wife? What are you trying to say about my baby
Right,
boy?"
right. Yeah, that's going back to what we were talking about earlier. I'm like, oh my god, they're using like real models and they're like family members and stuff. It's like, oh, your brother is now the model for like one of the 12 apostles, right? And that's such a flex, right? Huge flex. I mean, it's almost like blasphemous in a way, and I think it's I'm sure it was kind of like, oh, let's see what I can get away with, right?
Totally, because there's so much art during this period that's like, oh yeah, it's almost kind of like OC art, but it's like, yeah, this is my sister being blessed by Mama Mary.
Oh my god. I mean, what a time to live
Actually,
in,
she's
right?
actually besties. Yeah, she's besties with Jesus. That's why I painted them together.
I'm really happy I do live in a time, and I mean this like wholeheartedly, that like I can pay an artist to make something that I, you know, like can just like describe or like give you a reference and say like, look, I have feelings about this image in my head. Can you make that and produce it for me? I mean, it's sad that like, you know, I mean, that is a luxury product and a lot of artists are, you know, underselling themselves, and there's a lot to say about that, but it is pretty amazing that like we have some of that now within the quote unquote common people that was only available to the very rich of the time or only the church.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like this whole timeline
In the
is
early
basically
Renaissance,
just an understanding of like
artists
who's
were
commissioning the
influenced by
art
the humanist writings of
and what are
Alberti.
they asking
Right.
for.
Took up
You know?
his
Like, are
call
they
to
asking for
learn not only
self-insert art with
painting, but
Jesus?
mathematics and science as well. As they did, their status changed.
Oh,
from
this is
that
where
of
we're getting into
trained
like
craftsmen
perspective
to
and stuff
creators
in
and
the
gifted
Oh yeah,
Renaissance era.
Mm-hmm.
Two geniuses of the time particularly represent this shift. Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo reached
Da
such heights of
Da
artistic
Vinci.
achievement that they
Da
changed
Vinci.
forever the way people viewed art and artists.
There's a great movie about Michelangelo.
made a major
You
break
might
with
have seen it.
tradition
It's called
when
The
he
Agony
painted
and the
entire
Ecstasy.
ceiling of the Sistine Chapel
I have
by
not
himself,
Okay,
actually.
so
lying on his
so
back on
it's
a
a
scaffold.
movie from the 60s. It's pretty dry actually,
After
but
that,
like I like
artists
it, and
worked
it's about
alone more and more
Michelangelo
without
painting the
any
Sistine
apprentices.
Chapel and
But
his
the
sort of
church
like
and the
combative
aristocracy
relationship
still
with the
remained
Pope
their
at the
patrons.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like him going back and forth with the Pope, and the Pope is just like, "When are you gonna finish my fucking Sistine Chapel?" And Michelangelo's like, "When I'm done." When I'm done, and that's like it's like 3 hours of that, but they have like these moments together. And this one that stands out the most to me, it's like it's very late at night. The Pope can't sleep, so he goes down to the chapel and he meets with Michelangelo, and they look at the paintings together and they just kind of like marvel at humanity and respect. And the Pope is like, I have all the power in the world, but you were born with the blessing of an artist. If I were to be born again, I would want to be an artist like you. And that message was just like so powerful to me that like, you know, you could be anything. You could have all the power in the world, but there's some people out there that's like, I want to create, right? I want to do that thing. So anyway, we're about
I
to.
love that. It reminds me of like there was like a Tumblr post of like what's cool. Like it was like writers and artists kind of complimenting each other. Of like, oh, artists, you can make this image in your mind like a reality. And then I think someone else said that like, well, writers, you can like get that image in your mind and make other people imagine it.
Yeah.
With your words. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's a superpower. Yeah.
It is, yeah. We're about to get to the Protestant Reformation. Everyone thank the Protestants
lovely.
for allowing us to paint not Jesus. All right, let's do it.
With the Protestant Reformation,
There
the
we
churches
go.
in Northern Europe stopped commissioning religious images, forcing artists to change their subject matter
just love that
to
everyone
portraits,
thanked the
still
Protestants.
lives, landscapes, and general scenes of everyday people. In the late Renaissance, the middle class
Oh,
grew,
yeah, there you go.
and artists began to sell their work to merchants and householders who now had the money to buy artwork for themselves. It was the fashion in art dealers' shops in the 1600s to display pictures from floor to ceiling without any space in between.
Wow.
International trade in artwork
Oh, wow, that's-
grew,
that's,
with
I
Italian
didn't realize that's
artwork
how they,
exported to France,
they actually
Germany,
showed
and
it.
Spain.
With no spaces in between.
In
Yeah.
Dutch markets,
No
even
breathing room.
farmers bought local
Min-maxing
artwork in
my
simple
wealth.
black frames.
Modern
Artists were
museum
on their way to
workers
becoming
with-
entrepreneurs
Oh my God.
with goods to sell.
When we have sometimes entire walls dedicated to one piece because it's that important.
Yup. Mm-hmm. Need your breathing room.
In the
as they say.
1700s, the first great museums were open to the public. Now everyone could appreciate famous works of art.
Everyone?
I don't know about
Academies
everyone.
replaced the
Work.
guilds as the place where artists learned their profession. There were large exhibitions of artwork every year at the art academies, and artists were expected to paint in the official style.
These animations are amazing, yeah.
When the French
love
Art
them.
Academy
That
I got
wagging
little
tail.
the work of
tail.
Gustave
This piece is
Yeah.
awesome.
The
I've never
annual
seen this piece
exhibition of
before.
1856.
This is so
neither,
cool.
actually.
He said, "Be that way," and borrowed money to rent a large wooden shed, some called it a pavilion, where he presented the first one-man exhibition in art history. In the mid to late 1800s,
Oh, this is
artists
Impressionist
rebelled
here.
against the art
I
academies.
love
Impressionist
impressionist
Private art
work.
schools
That was like
developed,
my
and
first
many
love in
artists
art.
left their studios to paint outdoors.
I love it too.
This
Like
outdoor work
Monet.
became
Monet
much
with
easier
pieces
after
are
metal
like
tubes
a big
for
part of
oil
my
paint were
childhood.
invented in the 1840s.
To me, it's also
The
just amazing.
Impressionists
Of, like,
took these
I don't think
paints
they
and their
literally just like
canvases
looked at it and
and
then
went
just
out to
made the
capture the
impression, but
play of
like
light.
the
That's the artist
painting does
Monet in
look
his
like
boat, which he fixed up
basically
as
an
a floating
impression of
studio.
Yeah.
like what a sunset.
It was
looked
painted
like.
by the artist Edouard Manet.
All right, what's in store for 2000? What's the year 2000 gonna look like?
Hello?
Incredible.
Do we even
In
get
one
any
day,
narration?
We see more images than our ancestors saw in a lifetime.
We are overloaded,
Today, we make a distinction
overstimulated.
between fine art and
Stimulate, I'm
commercial art.
overstimulated.
Some people say the fine artist creates art to express his or her own personal vision, while the commercial artist is paid to create art that enhances or promotes a product or service. Does that mean Michelangelo was a commercial artist? After all, when he painted the Sistine Chapel, he was paid by the church to promote its purposes.
Oh, thanks for the heads up.
Today, an artist can get a diploma in fine arts from a university, study at home or by mail, or even be self-taught. Today's
Say by
competitive
mail?
art market is a
That was
free-for-all,
interesting.
and the sky's the limit
Are you
on
writing
how
a
much an
letter
artist's
saying, like,
work
I want
might
this
sell
piece?
for. This painting, for
Yeah, or
example,
is it like-
Van Gogh's
I
Sunflowers,
don't know.
Mail order
went for
art.
almost
Looks like mail order
$40
brides.
million
Just
in 1987.
Yeah. One art, please.
yeah. All right, that wasn't super that interesting, honestly. All right, we're
Yeah, it got us to some pretty interesting topics, but like it itself was like, oh, okay, cool.
all right. We're going to another world now. So what do you
Sure.
want to see next? We got perspective. We've got color, composition, and light.
All these are pretty good. I would want to say I'm always a sucker for color. Let's explore
Yeah,
color.
let's do color.
Yeah.
Whoa! Wait, it skipped it. I want to go back.
we
skipped-
have to see the animation.
Yeah, we have to see the animation.
Or
Hold on.
else.
Hold on. Let's go back. Whoa.
Whoa, we're going up the stairs.
Oh, now
Running around at the speed of sound.
it's so funky clicking around here. Hold on. How do I just? There we go. Okay. Color.
There you go.
All right. Click once. There we go. Here we go. Whee!
There you go.
Yippee! Oh, it's so nostalgic playing these things. All right.
Ooh, symbols and emotions and
That's
color mixing.
better. Welcome to Color.
Better.
We have some
That's
outrageous
better.
places to visit. For example, today's riddle at Color and Music is, how is a painting like a piano?
Piano.
Play a painting to find out.
I'm like so curious. I hope
Did you know that
Spencer or
colours
like any
are
other
like
British
people?
person can be like,
They have
yeah, that's not a.
That's not a real British accent.
Interesting
Yeah.
relationships. Get the gossip at Colors on Color. Or try Cool and Warm to see how an artist takes a color's temperature. And playing
Feeling
with
a little
color,
Helix,
you
that's what,
get to
the EFAP
repaint
said.
the
Yeah,
colors
Helix.
in a
It's
famous painting.
a RPG.
You can match wits
RPG.
with the
I
computer
played like a
at
smidge
color
of it,
mixing.
but I never finished
It's
it.
really
Travel
bizarre.
around
I
the
have not
colour
played it.
map
I've only seen
at symbols
clips.
and emotions. And color has a history too. Go to History of Color to get up to date with the changing fashions in the use of color. Prepare your eyes, my friend.
Oh my god, he's really chewing the
Oh,
scenery
Yeah,
here.
I know. I was like, it's like prepare your eyes.
You can move
My
around the
freaking
neighborhood
eyes.
with just a click.
My eyeballs are about to
Left
pop out.
All right.
All right.
Mommy Brown has a history.
So we got symbols and emotions, color mixing, color
You said a
and
couple of-
music.
Oh,
Color,
wow.
cool and warm color. Colors
Oh my
on
God.
color. Oh my goodness. We got an ad break, but I think
Really?
everybody's subbed, so I think we can keep going. Unless you, do you want to
Sure,
take a
sure.
3-minute break, or
I'll just take a sip of water, but I'm down to continue on.
okay, let's do it.
There's a lot of places to go. So if you remember any ones that are like interactive or any ones that you
Oh, I don't
want to-
remember anything. I'm going in
Okay.
blind here, so I want to
Yeah.
I want to know about symbols. Symbols are cool.
Sure. Let's do it.
You're at Symbols and Emotions. Do colors have consistent symbolic meanings?
Oh.
Can they be
Oh, that's an
relied
interesting
on to
question.
cause specific emotions in a viewer? Click around the map to see how, from early times to the present, colors have been used to express meaning. If you think
Not
you
seeing a lot of
already know
arrows
what a
on South
particular
America.
color
and
is,
Yeah, I know,
Africa, and,
yeah.
a
You may
fair
be in
amount
for
of.
some surprises.
They straight up don't even show like East and Southeast Asia, but okay.
Nope. There's a lot missing here. It's like, oh, it sure is America and European centric here. But yeah, let's take a look at China and maybe, Egypt, I guess.
Yeah. Let's check
In
it out.
ancient China, the color yellow, perhaps because it implies the sun, was reserved for the emperor, who was called the Son of Heaven. No one else was permitted to wear a yellow garment.
Disclaimer, I cannot refute this. 'Cause,
Yeah,
it's educational software, and just for context,
say-
this was 1995, right? So I don't know how
Yeah.
much of this is actually true these
They
days.
say ancient China too, but the thing is, like, ancient Chinese history like spans so
So
much that
long.
it's like,
Yeah.
are you talking about like which dynasty? What are you
Right,
talking about?
right.
But it's like broad enough that's like, okay, sure, sounds believable.
Right. Oh, good communism.
Comrade. I like that the arrow is like not even like where Moscow is. It's like in the middle
It's
of
in
like
Siberia, yeah.
Crimson is a bright, deep red, not the sort of red flag that means danger or stop, but an insistent call to arms. Is that why red cars tend to get more traffic tickets?
Okay, I guess we'll leave
Is
it at
that
that.
I was gonna say, like, is that a fact?
It actually is. I mean, that's what I've always heard. Disclaimer: this is just what I've heard. Yeah, it's just like red cars stand out more. Cops pull them over more. Maybe they're just going faster because they think they're, like, I'm in a hot red car, right? So yeah, statistically, I think they do. But look, if anyone wants to refute that, I will stand down. All right. What about Mexico? Mexico.
Yeah, let's do. Oh,
The ancient Aztecs used the color red to refer to the earth, and therefore, in their mythology, to renewal, as we might use green.
Okay. that was.
So I thought they were gonna talk about. There's a famous red dye called cochineal, which is from like that region, like Mesoamerica region, which is still used nowadays. And I love telling students about this because basically, if you have anything that's red, such as like a backpack sweater or even lipstick, like or any kind of like makeup, it's likely from cochineal. And the thing is that cochineal is actually bugs.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about. They used to. That's what they. Well, okay. So there's a liqueur I like called Campari, and it has a deep red color. And they used to color it. They crush these bugs, and they use that red. And I don't know if it's the same bug or a similar bug, but yeah, that's so cool.
I'm not sure. I just know that it's something called cochineal, and you find it on cactuses. Like it's a bug that like is on cactuses, but I've never seen the bugs actually move. So because it looks like it's like a fungus on the cactus. So when you pick it off, even if you just touch it, your finger is immediately dyed red.
Wow. So they're like really squishy, really squishy.
Yeah. And I think like it's a misconception that it's the blood. I don't think it's the blood. The thing is, like, anyone in chat, you can feel free to correct me, but I think that's just the color of the bug, like, but it's not blood. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's another Mexico here. Maybe they talk about that.
Ancient Aztecs again. In most cultures, black, night, darkness have sinister connotations. For the Aztecs, black was the color they associated with their gods. Of course, we don't know how they felt about their gods.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. This
is just general enough to be like, okay, I guess.
Yeah. We'll do a couple more here. Let's see.
I feel like if they're their gods, I feel like, we just don't know how they felt about them.
We just don't know. No idea. We'll never know. Here,
let's not like there's people that live there that you could ask.
Oral history passed down thousands of years, but whatever.
It's a mystery.
We'll do one from Europe. I like the purple color. This is probably going to get into like royalty.
Probably.
In the Christian world of the early Renaissance, which was still very influenced by the Byzantine style, colors had specific meanings. Purple was the sacred color. Red meant suffering. Green symbolized renewal. White expressed purity. Gold symbolized celebration and grace. This painting is Simone Martini's The Road to Calvary, painted about 1340.
All right. And then
okay.
Pink.
USA, yeah.
Blue is for boys. Pink is for girls.
Oh boy.
Who knows why?
I heard
buses
this is.
and
I heard
3/4 of all the pencils manufactured are yellow. It's almost a fact of life.
I thought they were gonna
like
go
the
into
grass
it, but I guess
being
no.
green.
What? Wait, what were those? The pencils? Yeah, no, I had heard that pink is traditionally a male color because it comes from red, which was traditionally more of a masculine color, and it wasn't until like late 19th century, early 20th century that they kind of flipped it.
Yeah, I don't know the exact history, but I heard the same. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
this color map was kind of
it's like nice and concise, but also like it's so concise that it's like okay, I guess. Like,
boils it down a little bit.
Yeah.
What is
like,
color?
I don't know if I could refute it.
What is colors on color?
Welcome to the color game.
It's so like.
Oh, it's a game.
It's so. Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, I guess.
Whoa.
This is looking at. Oh, jeez, that's.
That was a little weird. Wait, what am I?
I know.
Okay. All right.
It's looking at contrast, basically.
Contrast,
which,
yeah.
Like, this is like a concern for like graphic designers, for example, to like just readability and accessibility, basically.
Yeah, do you have a lot of graphic design experience, or are you more like fine arts oriented?
It's funny because I used to be a graphic design major, and like I think I told this story before that like I took all the prerequisites to finally take a graphic design class, but the first day of school, oh not school, but like the first day of me taking that class, I was late. I had to climb like 7 flights of stairs in my college
Oh my
campus,
gosh.
and because I was late, I just had this weird moment of like. I was right in front of the door about to open it, and then I just turned around and left. And, like, went back home.
Were you like...
And changed my major.
Were you like, no, I don't even want to begin? That's crazy. What was...
I don't know whether I had some kind of, like, anxiety breakdown or something, but I just remember, like, walking away and just, like, changing my major the next day.
Oh my god. I mean,
I was like, you know what? I think I like history more.
I mean, sometimes you just have that revelation, right? You're like, I should do this, but do I really want to do it? And I think, yeah, maybe that, I don't know, maybe you saved yourself there from,
maybe,
you know?
But like, I do still like graphic design in that, like, everyone has like a philosophy of like what their art or what their design is based off. Mine is accessibility. So like, I didn't realize that, like, you know, sometimes I like pretty fonts, right? But for me, I want a font that someone with dyslexia can read.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, that's just an example of like different people's like philosophy.
Sure.
Like, other people will be like yeah, like accessibility is important, but for me it's like bold colors, or for me it's, you know, like making sure that I can sell
And the
a
answer
product,
is...
you know.
Right.
So,
that's so cool.
different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I've always been interested in graphic design because it's like you're working within a rule set. Like you have to be like creative within a set of rules, whether it's margins, whether it's like, you know, philosophy of the design. That stuff has always like really fascinated me because I think that for some people, their best creativeness comes out of having a restriction placed on them and what you can do within that restriction. So that's why graphic design's always been fascinating to me.
Oh yeah, and I just realized what your chat has been saying, that this is also a good exercise in relativity, which is the blue dress, gold dress.
Yep.
Like,
I remember that. That was a hot topic
yeah.
at work for a day. I was screaming it was gold or something like that because we had nothing better to do apparently. So.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
cool,
answer
cool.
is, the inside squares are exactly the same each time. The insight that colors seem to change with their surroundings was developed by French physicist Eugène Chevreul in his work Laws of Simultaneous Contrast, published in 1839. One of Chevreul's laws.
Oh wow.
Any color influences its neighbor in the direction of its own complement. For example, purple will make its neighbor look slightly more yellow. Is that true? You can try it yourself in the color game.
Huh. I didn't know there was this like written law of how colors
I also
interact like that.
I guess it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense that there would be a lot. There'd be a study topic for you to answer on a test.
Right. I want to see more like art pieces. I think I'm hoping that some of these more color and music. Let's see, cool and warm.
You've come to cool and warm colors.
Ah, there we
It's
go.
common, whether you're painting a masterpiece or decorating your
It's like
living
Blue's
room
Clues.
to recreate
Yeah, we
the
both thought the
warm
same
or
thing.
cool.
Same brain
Warmer
cell.
colors are found in the orange-red
Oh my God,
band
it's
of the
blue.
color circle. Cooler colors among the blues and
We are
greens.
looking for Blue's
Language and
Clues.
experience agree on this.
I wonder where.
We say something is red hot or icy blue. The coolness and warmth of colors may be
This
more
poor
than
guy.
just a visual
Oh my God,
phenomenon.
twins, yeah.
Studies have shown
It's the
that
Bell
workers in
twins.
offices painted orange, red, and yellow are satisfied with lower room temperatures than those in offices painted blue or green. Color keeps them warm.
Okay.
That makes me think of, you know, the whole philosophy. It's not color per se, but like, you know, casinos, right? The hotels, like the floor, the carpets and the floors are designed to be like ugly to get you to like go outside of the room and go gamble. That kind of thing.
I heard about that. I heard about like they pump more oxygen into like the casinos.
Yeah, I think maybe.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of rumors. I don't know what's true or what's not, but I do like the idea that like having rooms that have certain colors and artistic aspects to them can influence a person to do certain things or simply like not want to be there or continue to be there, right? Because it's like we get games like the back rooms where it's just like you got to get away from the sign guy. Okay, sorry. we get games like the back rooms where it's just like the most unpleasant experience you could have, which is just like wet, soggy carpet, yellow lighting, and like infinite just ugly rooms. Random moans. Sorry. What about history? I bet this is probably going to be interesting. Oh, here we go.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God, they have Saturn eating his kid.
Hell yeah.
The world around us. That's called local color. Color has also been used as a tool of decoration, symbolism, and creating a mood. Over the centuries,
Off the top
artists
of my head,
found
I
new pigments and learned
recognize.
techniques
Oh,
to
the
use
one on
them
the
more effectively.
leftmost
In
at the
modern
bottom,
times,
that
color has
is
become a subject
Jan
matter
van
as
Eyck,
well as
I
a
think.
tool
It's a
for the
northern
artist.
Renaissance.
To
That's
see
a
the
really cool
progress of
painting.
Yeah, let's go
color
check
use
that
in
out.
art, click on the paintings before you.
Ah.
The single candle stands for God's light. The
That
little
one's
dog
awesome
is an
because
emblem of
in the
faithfulness.
background you see a mirror.
But
Let me
unlike
know if you don't
earlier
want me to
paintings,
talk over
No,
the
you can
dude.
talk over the
used
dude.
here
I want to listen to
mainly
you more than the
describe
dude.
objects
Sure,
realistically.
sure. So like you see
Color
the
has
mirror in the
little or no
background. If
symbolic
you like
purposes.
zoom in, you won't be able to zoom
The
in
use
here.
of
But if you
oil
like go
paint,
to
a
to
new
Wikipedia or
material in
something,
Van Eyck's time,
you can actually see the
allows
back
for a
of that
great
couple
range
as
of
well
hues
as
and
I think the painter.
Oh,
and
what?
for the showing of texture.
Are you how big is this painting?
Still, if you drain the
I
color,
actually don't know off the top of my head.
the
It's one of those
essential
ones that I
tonal
studied in art
relationships
history.
Okay.
and the meaning of the
So I
painting
don't, and like
remain
I always
intact.
just gloss over
Color
numbers.
here.
So,
Right, right.
like,
I mean,
actually don't know if
clearly
things,
it's
like,
big enough that they could like
sometimes.
paint that into the mirror, right? That's so cool. Well, actually, if we click on stats, it's going to tell us.
There you go.
32 inches
So
high by
inches.
23 inches wide. Okay.
So that's like a little less than 3 feet, right?
Mhm,
Or-
yeah, yep.
Yeah. mhm.
Cool.
Which
1434.
freedom units. I don't know how to translate that into non-freedom units.
Well, 82 by 60 centimeters. There you
Oh,
go.
there you go. It's right there. Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Mhm.
What else can you tell me about this? Any other
Yeah.
details?
So this is for one, the dude looks like Putin. Because that's been like a common thing with like his paintings is that every time he draws, every time he
Oh.
paints a person, a male person,
Okay.
it looks like Vladimir Putin
That's so
for some
funny.
reason. Yeah, this is a marriage scene. I don't know if it's done. I think it's done after their actual wedding because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you do. They mentioned before. Sometimes it's like a painting done to show your prospective, like betrothed person.
Right, right.
I think this was done after the fact.
Well, she's very pregnant, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, that might actually be. It's like that Simpsons meme, like as was the fashion at the time. In certain circles
Oh.
around medieval times, I think this is shortly after medieval times, but it was in the fashion for one to have a very high forehead to the point where people would pluck their eyebrows
Oh
and
my god.
the kind of like the baby hairs. I'm like touching my own like hairline right now,
Mhm.
but like it would be tradition to pluck that to make it look like you had a very high forehead for more intelligence, to the point where some women around this time period in the paintings they look bald because they also have
We gotta
like
go
a
higher.
shroud.
We gotta go further.
You have to go further. But also it was in fashion to look pregnant, essentially. So she
Wow.
could actually be pregnant, but she could actually just be like wearing something that makes her her not waist, but her
Mhm.
I can't her hips and
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like
Yeah, just
look
kind of
bigger.
bigger,
Mhm.
bulged out almost. Yeah, that's
Mhm,
crazy.
mhm.
She's also just holding up her dress in front too. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
So I actually don't know if she actually is pregnant, but like she could be, but she could also just it could also be the fashion at the time.
Got it. It's a very interesting scene because it looks like they're in their bedroom. Like that's the bed right there, as far as I can tell. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if this is like you know how they would say royal couples back then, like they would have witnesses to them consummating their
Oh
marriage.
yeah.
I
Wait,
don't
that
know
was
if this was
wait, that was
that.
real? That's not just Game of
No,
Thrones?
I think that's real. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like they would have witnesses to like, yeah, we're gonna see the, people would try to BS you and say like, oh yeah, it's to make sure that the marriage is real, right? But it's like, nah, you guys are just you guys are just weird.
You're just weird. Yeah, it's just a
You
fetish.
guys just want to watch them do it.
Wow. Apparently this guy is Yufaf said that the guy who painted this is kind of insane. What made him insane?
He's just I think it was EFAF said that he was just really skilled. If you look at his other works, Jan van
Oh,
Eyck,
I thought we meant like
mhm,
literally insane, like like he had
he could have
issues.
been. I don't know. Well, one of my favorite artists from this time period, some of the older Bibinkums might remember, but I used to talk about Bosch a lot,
There
Hieronymus
is
Bosch.
plenty of
Okay.
He's around the same time period, but his paintings are truly like, I don't know if he was sane at all, because he's like a proto-surrealist where he would draw scenes from
Oh.
hell. Or
Ooh.
his idea of hell, and it would have like
Whoa.
just really funky like creatures and little
Wait, is that this
guys.
guy here? Oh no, that's
No, I
1821.
think
No.
that's so what's his name again? The Spanish guy. It's not Dali, but it's
Wait.
um
Actually, let's go to the database and
yeah.
maybe we can actually find a piece by what did you say, Bosch? Like
Oh gosh, it's yeah, exactly. You spelled it
Hieronymus
100%.
Bosch?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got
so
it.
he has
Got
this.
it.
Oh, here we
Yep,
go. The
that's
Garden
it.
of Delights print.
Yeah. Oh,
Can
they
I?
shortened it. It's actually the Garden of Earthly Delights. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
If you can find it.
I think that's as big as it gets. But yeah. Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
so this is a in three pieces, right? So it's like
hmm
split out into three different paintings.
Yeah, it's called a triptych.
Triptych. I was almost
hmm
wanting to say it, but I didn't want to sound stupid, so I didn't
No,
say it.
no, no worries. But yeah, this one is interesting because the one on the picture on the left is the Garden of Eden.
Okay. Yep.
So like you see, I think that's supposed to
Adam and
be
Eve
Jesus.
and God
Yeah.
in the center. Well,
It's
God.
supposed to be God, but represented also by Jesus. It's supposed
Right.
to be like a form of like foreshadowing, I guess, of the
Well,
Bible.
the thing is like the so I you probably know this already, but in like certain Christianity, denominations, like Jesus, God, and the Holy Spirit are all one being and have
hmm
always
hmm
existed. So I could see
Yep.
why they would do it in that way. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. There was I forgot the term, but there is a term for like people believing that because the Old Testament and the New Testament are completely different like
Mm-hmm.
books, but they reference one another. Or
Mm-hmm.
rather the New Testament references the Old. But there are people who believe that like the Old Testament does make references to Jesus, like specific references,
Mm.
but like so I don't want to like invite, religious
Yeah. No,
debate
I've
here, but
I've I've delved into stuff like that, like
yeah.
and Gnosticism and all those things. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's super interesting to
Yeah.
me. But there are other
Mhm.
YouTube channels you can go watch that stuff.
Yeah,
I definitely recommend
exactly. Yeah.
what's his name oh god, I'll remember it later. But anyway, yeah, there's other places you can go watch that stuff.
Exactly. So to not invite that conversation, like going back to the artwork, the left is the Garden of Eden.
hmm
The middle is supposedly, or one interpretation is like it's the modern world,
Oh,
but kind of gone to hell. Or like it's not hell, but it's like look at all these people kind of indulging
sure,
because
yeah,
if you
sin, living in
um
sin, yeah,
listen, like because you see a lot of people like naked people just like doing stuff together,
looks like
kind of
fun.
random. Yeah, right. It looks like fun. And then on the right is hell. Is like this is what's gonna
Oh.
happen if you guys continue to indulge. This is where you're gonna end up.
Right. Oh, cool.
And I don't know if you've seen it, but when I say like, I'm sending you guys to detention, and there's like a whole nother
Yeah,
scene with
yeah,
like
yeah.
flames and
Yeah, you
stuff.
got
It's
like,
from this painting.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, all right. Yeah.
it's from this
It's
painting.
the
Like,
bottom
cause
right here, isn't it? Like this bit here.
exactly, yeah, exactly. That's detention.
It's so good. Oh man, that's so
Mhm.
funny.
Mhm.
Well, I guess
See, that's what's gonna happen
I,
if the Babinkovs don't act right.
oh, okay. So 1450 to 1516. What an interesting time period. So that's
Mhm.
like early mid Renaissance, that time period.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
got it.
Mhm. Oh
Very
my gosh,
cool.
the redeem with the emotes is kind of fun. Detention.
All right, let's
Yeah,
go
this
back.
is yeah, go ahead and pick out whichever one.
Ah, wish you were talking about what was it like a Zeus eating
Oh,
it?
the one on the lower right?
This one.
Saturn eating his
Oh,
child,
Saturn eating
yeah.
his child. Yeah.
And I think was it
Wow.
Matthew that said it?
You
Goya, yeah,
probably
it's
don't need a
Francisco
professor
Goya.
to tell you about color use
This is a
in
crazy
Goya's
one.
Saturn
That's
eating one of his sons.
horrifying.
It
Red,
is, yeah, like the bulging.
bloody,
Oh, the
garish,
blood.
and bizarre. Goya, a romantic painter, may have been indicating only how time destroys the creatures that are its children. Or he may have had
Yeah,
a more
like this is
political
straight
idea
from
in
mythology
mind.
for
Mm.
me.
How rulers and
By
generals
extension, like
destroy
Roman,
those
Yeah.
whose lives are
mythology.
their
Right.
responsibility.
But the thing with it is that like the story is that like this
Keep in
god
mind that this
Kronos or
focused,
Saturn is
insistent
eating
use
his
of red and
child,
black
but
is
Kronos
in
was
real
also the
life
god of
nearly
time.
5 feet tall
So
and
I
3
think this
feet
narrator
across.
is saying that like
It's
was
a
it a
big statement,
literal
with color
like
used
Saturn?
to
You might hear
express
my cat.
feeling
Schnackery.
as well as to describe objects.
Is it a literal like just retelling of Saturn eating his child, or is it symbolic of time eating away at what have you?
Right. Yeah. Fascinating. Do you know the Stephen King novel and by association the made-for-TV film The Langoliers? Are you
No,
familiar with
I
The
don't.
Langoliers?
I'm
So
not. What is-
it's a really bad horror movie, but it's extremely fascinating. Stephen King wrote this story. It's a short story actually. So it's called The Langoliers, and what it is a group of people like get stuck in the past. They're on a plane, they go through like some kind of like weird event in the sky, and they land in Bangor, Maine, and no one's there except them. So they walk around the town and they're like, what the hell's going on? And then all of a sudden these horrifying like mouths with a million sharp teeth like come out of nowhere, and they're like
Oh.
eating existence away. And what it is they're called the Langoliers. And what it is if you get stuck in the past, those are the things that eat the past. So like I don't know, it's just a really interesting story. But anyway, they made a made-for-TV film. It's bad, but it's also like fascinating at the same
I
time.
like googled it, and the mouths look kind of comical. They look like little, like the Mario chain chomps.
Yeah, they're chain chomps. They're literally chain chomps, but it's like bad 90s CG. Anyway, so that made me think of this because it's like
concept, though.
time being eaten away by these like creatures. Yeah. But yeah, this piece is fucking horrifying. I'm surprised they put that in this quote unquote game, but at the same time, it's fine art, right? It's like don't censor fine art even for kids.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because you can see like the blood and like the flesh that's like underneath. It's creepy, and like since this is talking about color, like what Goya did here is that like he actually this is more so value and like light, but it's one thing that always kind of freaks me out is not just the eyes, but look at his knuckles, because that is actually like one of the, if you think of like what are the whitest parts of this painting, which is overall dark, it's his eyes, the hair, and then like the paleness of the corpse, as well as his knuckles, because that shows that there's like pressure being applied.
He's really digging in, right? It's almost like he's gonna rip it apart. Oh,
which like complements the eyes. Like the eyes look like he's gone insane. He's lost it. Like he's eating his own kid.
Oh God, it's horrifying. It's in Madrid. Okay, next time I go to Spain, I'm gonna go check that one out.
There you go. Yeah.
So
I think
cool.
Matthew said that almost got a print.
Oh.
Yeah, this is scary.
Oop. Go back. All right. We'll pick another one here. What's this? Oh, Vermeer. I love Vermeer.
Oh, it is Vermeer. Yeah, this is an interesting one. He also uses light in a really interesting way.
Whites.
Yeah, I
like,
got
once
to
again,
see
the
the girl with the pearl
create an
earring
atmosphere of
a few years
stillness
ago.
and
Yeah, I came to
detachment.
New York City, and that was really
A
cool.
combination of the dark colors in the foreground and Vermeer's mastery of modeling light focuses our attention on the quiet, cool figure of the model. Generally interested in quiet scenes of daily life, Vermeer's use of cool colors makes him unusual among the artists of his
learned a little bit more about
time.
Vermeer recently because of that one VTuber who is under Hollow Pro
Mm-hmm.
in Regloss and Rodin. She also does art history streams, and I watched the translated clips. She talked very briefly about. Do you know what camera obscura is?
Yes, but you can talk about it for those that don't know in the chat.
Sure. So like, it's I don't know whether to call it a phenomena or basically it's a technique of like if you were to like, let's say take your bedroom window, assuming that if you are in a bedroom that has a window, and you just cover everything up except for like a little tiny dot, the surroundings outside of that window are actually going to reflect into your room. You do kind of have to set it up in a certain way, but basically it reflects everything but upside down. That is kind of like the precursor to a camera, but like how people actually used it was as an art technique. Like artists would trace that reflected image, and they would create paintings like this, for example, that like instead of like trying to figure out the perspective of how to draw a room, or like a scenery outside of a room, you could just trace it, and end up with something like this. And I think Rodden not argued, but like she was saying that some of Vermeer's paintings kind of have the hallmarks of being painted with this technique of camera obscura.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fascinating. I had no
Yeah,
idea.
I can link it. I have to find the clip again, but I can find the like her proof is something like with the way that metals are painted.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't do it justice. I'm just
No,
gonna
no,
have
it's
to find
okay.
the
Yeah, no,
clip.
that's super fascinating. And yeah,
Mhm.
Cielo, I do love the curtain, just the folds and how the light
Yeah.
kind of falls across that. That's so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember not a while ago I watched the movie for, that is the sort of historical fantasy about the girl with the pearl earring. And the movie's called The Girl with the Pearl Earring, and they used a lot of like really cool cinematography in the film to make it look a little bit like Vermeer's paintings, like same
Cool.
principles of like color and shadow and lighting and stuff like that. It made it for a very pretty movie. I don't think it was very good, but it was very pretty.
Understandable.
All right, let's go take a look at some other places.
For most of
already 11:30 for me.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Let's see.
We could look at actually whichever one you want. I was gonna say like
What do you
I
want to
know
do?
that composition was another one and light was one. Maybe we could spend like 15 in composition
Yeah.
one and 15 in
I mean,
light, something
wait,
like
no hard stops, right? I can go a little later. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel so
Oh my
much
gosh.
more composed now. Thank you
I feel
very
so
much.
composed now.
How artists arrange the
As
forms and
opposed to-
lines in a work of art.
Uncomposed.
That's what we'll find out in composition. The very structure of a painting produces an
Yeah,
emotional
composition is just basically
All
how
right,
you're
let's
like
do
putting all your elements. Yeah, like
Yeah, so we're
kind
gonna
of
talk about like
explaining
this one probably talks about the Fibonacci sequence.
Mhm.
Is that like? It always seemed a little odd to me that it like is a real thing. Does it continue to be like principles that are applied today, like rules of thirds and things like that?
Yeah, like the Fibonacci sequence, like very, for those who don't know, like also very closely connected to what is it, the golden
Ratio, yeah.
There's also like the golden. I've just heard it like described in so many ways, like the golden spiral, the golden ratio, the golden. Yeah, like all of that is basically like in nature you can observe like this nautilus shell, like it repeats at kind of like a consistent rate. I don't really know how to explain it.
Yeah, so we'll click in and
Arrived
we'll
at
see what they have
the
to
real
say.
ideal.
Yeah.
For the Greeks, the sides of the
Oh my God,
perfect
this looks so
rectangle
vaporwave
were
for
in a
that.
It
ratio
does.
of 1 unit to 1.6. They called this the golden rectangle.
There we go.
If you
golden
draw
rectangle.
a box around an egg, you get roughly these same ideal dimensions. That's one way
Yeah,
to
it's
think
like an
of a golden egg.
idealized ratio.
A golden rectangle can be divided into a square and another golden rectangle.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess
It's
there's
like an idealized form. Oh,
There's a
like
little
Just
game.
click and drag a
I
golden
know,
rectangle
what's that
from
bear head
here
doing
over to the
know.
object you think fits inside.
What did they do?
What
to
do they
him?
do to what do they do
If
to
it
my
does fit,
son?
the rectangle will snap onto the object and reform to the right
They
size.
massacred my boy.
All right, I guess we're gonna find some ratios here.
Oh, okay, you got a ratio.
Oh,
the artwork.
We're gonna
Okay.
ratio them. Oh, that's a ratio. Is
Okay,
the bear is
okay.
not a ratio.
Not a ratio.
Oh, the butterfly
So-
is.
Oh, yeah.
The
Yeah.
Vitruvian man.
Yeah, there we go.
This pagoda thing. Oh,
Mhm.
there's another one there.
Technically not a monkey,
Monkey.
but yeah. The chameleon, the owl.
I think we got everything. Oh,
Are we all ratioed out?
we're
Okay.
we've been
I
ratioed.
guess there's no way to rotate it because
I guess
it implies
not.
that like you gotta.
Oh, this whole thing.
Okay.
A for effort, or maybe B+.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
There
nice.
we go.
Uh,
All right.
Yeah, you ratioed them real good.
Got ratio. Let's go to.
In
Oh, here we
composing
go.
Their pictures,
Oh, there we go, we got
artists
some
are
more.
concerned with issues
Alright,
such
this
as
is the
subject
good- Oh, they got
matter,
the-
This is the good
center of
shit here.
attention,
The paintings.
balance,
Mhm,
and shape of the
Oh,
objects
the
that make up their
the
images.
Last Supper down here.
The choices
got
they
the
make
Last Supper.
change the feeling and
They got
effect
the
of the
top
painting.
right
The way
one.
artists have handled these
what was
issues
his-
has
no,
changed
on
through
the-
time.
A little bit more
Click the
right. Yeah, there you
pictures
go.
to find out more.
That one is something like
That's
the...
Napoleon, isn't? No, it's not. It's pre-Napoleon.
No, it's I forgot
This
his
is
Oh.
the Oath of the
name.
Horatii by Jacques-Louis David. The three
Jacques-Louis
Roman
David, he's
Horatius
the one who
brothers
painted
swear on their
Napoleon.
swords
Ah.
to fight three
Yeah.
brothers from the enemy camp, while their
That
sisters
famous one of
look on in
Napoleon
Yeah.
ambush.
Flowers, that's by Jacques-Louis
Tragically,
David. Yeah.
one sister
it.
is engaged to an enemy brother. Whoever wins,
But yeah,
she
this is
loses.
some kind. It's like a pact
In the
from
second
like
half
ancient
of the
times, but
1700s,
painted
artists
in like
again came under the
Napoleon.
influence of classical Greece and
Oh, I
Rome.
see. They're saluting him.
There is
They're
a sense
giving
of
an
order
oath.
in neoclassic
Ah.
paintings,
Yeah.
similar to Renaissance paintings.
Yeah, the whole thing with composition is
Figures were
basically like
posed
where you're
parallel
putting all of
instead
your
of
elements. So
diagonally
to the
like,
picture
why are
plane.
the figures there?
Yeah.
But then there's this
Here,
huge
the
empty
people are
space.
There
arranged
is,
above.
in
yeah.
three parallel
Mhm.
layers. People
And
were
it's
also
basically, I
grouped
think
in
Cielo
pyramids.
mentioned like the rule of
linked by
thirds in
gestures.
photography. That's basically like if you
Meanwhile,
are to
look at how
divide
balanced the
your
painting's composition
photo
is.
into like 9 pieces.
There are three
the-
evenly spaced
It's
arches.
kind of hard to explain, but like in the
And the people are
intersection of
placed
like
in
those
three
9
groups in front of the
pieces or
arches.
those lines is where you want to put the most interest.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this, like, why is the background so empty? Is it just to put emphasis on this foreground?
Yeah. It's to emphasize it, and then you know how I said I was really surprised that they would like back then they would display all their artwork with no gaps in between.
Yeah.
There is this idea of like breathing room.
Oh.
Of like when you paint something like this, you kind of want like each element to breathe on its own, not literally, but more so like you don't want to overcrowd an art piece with too many elements, because then it kind of takes away from every single part. Like,
Right.
you see like the person in the middle with all the swords. Like
Right.
if you were to put like someone behind him or someone in front of him, it takes away from that guy.
Right. Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Where is this?
Yeah.
Oh, it's in the Louvre. Cool.
Oh, nice. The Louvre.
The Louvre.
The Louvre.
This is the
What is this? This is so cool.
Yeah, that one looks
Velasquez.
Velasquez.
the
Oh,
Baroque
I think he
artists
painted Las
returned to the
Meninas.
realism of the Renaissance.
I'm not super familiar
But
with.
whereas
with this
Renaissance
one,
paintings are relatively static, Baroque
though.
paintings
This is kind
look
of
dynamic,
crazy though, because if
even
you look, it's almost like
theatrical.
a zoomed-in painting in the background.
Yeah.
They tend to have lots of curves and diagonals, and to open up deep space.
Deep
There's a lot of action in this painting, The Weavers by Velázquez. Each woman's
just say
gesture is
Velázquez?
different,
Yeah, he
leading
did.
our eyes in different directions.
As not as bad as like Pico
Our
de
eyes
Gallo.
are also led deep
A lot
into
of
the
Pringling
picture,
going on here.
past the weaving women in the foreground, to a play being performed in the middle distance, to the tapestry on the back wall.
Oh, it's a tapestry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
This does remind. There is a painting. I don't know if they're gonna have it in here, but it's basically a painting showing a whole bunch of other paintings.
Hmm.
And actually, I would want. I actually played a game early into my streaming career that
Mhm.
I think would be worth checking out after this. It's
Oh, yeah?
called Four Last Things.
What,
It's a
four
comedy.
last things?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's on Steam. It's actually a kind of a comedic game, but it's all made up of Renaissance art.
Oh.
And they kind of move like the animations in this game, actually.
That's so cool. Yeah, I will check that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Fully recommend it.
All right. What's this? Oh, Degas.
In the
Oh,
late
Degas.
1800s,
Ooh, there's a little bit more
artists
modern,
were
yeah.
influenced
Yeah.
by the
Oh, I
newly
love the
invented
ballerinas.
camera,
Mm-hmm.
and by its accidents of composition that cropped
Oh,
scenes
cool. They're
in
trying to draw
unusual
like
ways.
where's the rest of the painting, you know?
In this painting by Degas, called Musicians in the Orchestra of the Opera, we see only a portion of the musicians.
You know, this actually
The
goes
conductor
into like
of the orchestra is not seen at all.
how to say this. So like
dancers, who
there
are
are a
usually
couple of
the
things
focus
that
of attention at the
I did
opera,
as a
are pushed to the
like
top of the
teen
painting,
or like young
and their
adult
heads
that
and
I didn't
feet
realize
are
would actually
cropped.
come in handy when it
There
came
is
to
a great
art. And
feeling
one of
of
them was
spontaneity.
making anime
The musicians
PFPs.
seem to be unaware that they are being
Oh.
painted.
So like
One
back
is
then,
sitting
or
with his
like we
back
didn't call
to
it
us.
PFPs back then. We
No.
called it icons.
Icons
but,
or
like,
avatars
yeah,
or yeah.
avatars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where if you take like a screen cap
While another
and crop
looks up
it.
at the
Yeah.
dancers.
I remember back then on LiveJournal, you
rest
would have
look
people
at
that
the
made these
unseen
icons,
conductor.
and they
Mm.
would actually give like
Let's imagine
3
the
different
entire
variations
setting
of like
for
the
a
same
moment.
screen cap, but
Degas has
cropped
chosen
in
to
different
frame
ways.
a kind of
Right.
smaller image
Something that I
would be
practice
taken
in
by a
fact,
camera.
and like that's actually like legitimately a good way to practice
Yeah.
this kind of like composition that he's talking about right now. Is like if you have like just like I'm trying to think of like what's a what's an iconic anime? I'll just say like just like an anime face. Do you choose to crop it in a way that it's like perfectly centered, or do you choose to crop it so it's just like half of the face? Because that does kind of give you different vibes.
Totally. I've done a lot of that, yeah, for myself. Yeah.
That's something that like I think like is kind of underestimated with like, you know, just the act of making PFPs can come in handy with like creating art eventually.
Yeah, I definitely picked up a lot of stuff early on. Like I was getting into like digital photography in high school, like, you know, and like learning tips and tricks. And I think, you know, like Cielo said, like rule of thirds and things like that. I learned very quickly, like, don't split the sky and the landscape, right? Because it creates a very boring photo. You want more emphasis on either the sky or the landscape itself. So kind of like learn how to point your camera. And like, I learned enough that I could take pretty decent shots while still being, you know, just like very amateur. But a friend of mine, she wanted me to take photos at her wedding, and then she asked another friend to take photos at her wedding, and he had like a really fancy DSLR, and I had kind of like more of a point and shoot. I think I took better photos with the point and shoot simply because like I had a better idea of like how to not split, like, you know, kind of like like how to compose your scene before taking the photo. And it's like, even though he had the more expensive camera and the better lens, he just full on like, okay, I'll put the faces in the center of the frame in every single shot. And it just, all the photos that he took look like garbage. So
no, exactly. Like it's basically it's an art in how to create interest and like you said, kind of like a story and a narrative just with a picture.
Right,
you know?
right. All right, let's let's go to the Last Supper. I love that piece.
Sure, yeah.
The Renaissance came after the Gothic
Oh
period
my gosh.
and looked
Do you
back
remember
for
the era of like
inspiration
talking
at
about
classical
what is
art
it, Da
with its
Vinci
emphasis
Code?
on balance,
Yep, I read the book.
Yeah.
observation of nature. As you
I
can
remember
see
so
in
much
this
art
painting,
analysis
The
that
Last
went
Supper
into
by
this painting
Leonardo da
because
Vinci.
of that.
Yeah.
And it was
Renaissance
stuff like
painters
if you
liked their
look
compositions
at
balanced.
the like left of Jesus
Figures are placed
from
parallel
our
to
point
the
of view,
canvas
that is
and arranged around
I don't know
the
my saints
central
that well.
figure.
It's like,
Notice
but if
how
you look
all
at the
the
person
lines in
that's
the
like kind of
painting
like
meet at a point
lying,
near
creating
Jesus'
that like
head.
V formation,
Yeah.
the
The painting
person
has a
next to
clear
him is
center
making
and
kind of like a
obvious
threatening
balance.
gesture at their neck.
Jesus sits in the middle,
Yeah.
forming a
Which I
triangle
like
with
that
his
was one
head and
interpretation is that
arms,
like, oh,
with
they're
6
threateningly
apostles on
like
each
gesturing
side,
at this
split into
person
groups
that
of
is
3
like
men
right
each.
next to Jesus.
The
Right.
disciples' gestures
It kind of
move
goes
our
into what I was saying
attention
about
to
like,
the
oh,
center
like
of
you
the
kind of
painting.
have to know the memes to like understand the analysis.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, is the guy really doing a threatening gesture, or like, you know,
Right. Does your interpretation of the text and what you know match up with what's, you know, here in the painting, right?
exactly. And like, and gotta hand it to Da Vinci. Like, it is a really nice piece because like he like very neatly has like these groups of 3 people
Right.
all throughout.
The
Yeah.
Renaissance
What's this one? Oh, Raphael.
In the late
Oh.
Renaissance period, artists started to group figures in a pyramid shape, not just a triangle.
I can
The
see
difference
it.
is
I can
that
see
the triangle is flat.
Too bad he was testing a brand new
pyramid
paint
seems to
compound and it
jut at an
deteriorated
angle out
almost
of the picture
immediately.
toward
Oh, is
us.
that what the Last Supper looks so
Oh.
poor?
Raphael's
Was that
Saint
George and
the Dragon,
re
the figures make a
like
pyramid-like
what do you
shape.
call it? Like restored in the last
St. George's
however.
head is at the apex.
Restoration
I
is super
actually
fascinating to
pyramid.
me.
It is. Have you
The
seen
left
that one
line of the
YouTuber
pyramid
that
is
I
formed
think
by
it's
the
called like
angle of the horse's head and
Baumgartner?
legs, and the head and
He just
neck
does
of the
like videos of
dragon.
like painting
St.
restoration.
George's
and he,
Really?
figure
like,
emphasizes the
yeah,
left
there are
line
some
of the
videos where he
pyramid
just straight up
too.
does like ASMR.
Oh.
The
But
dragon's
there are
body
some
forms
versions
the
where
bottom
it's like
line
the
of
same
the
exact video,
pyramid.
but he has commentary on like his
The right
philosophy
side of
on
the
like
pyramid runs from the
restoring things because
horse's
he uses
back
a
feet
paint that is
up to
easily
St.
removable
Oh,
in case like
he makes a
like
mistake.
he's always
yeah.
exactly where he's like, you know, I don't pretend that I'm the best restoration
composing-
guy out there. One day
Right.
there's gonna be someone that's gonna be better, and like it's better to have paint that can be easily removed.
Yeah, of course. That's
Yeah.
an interesting philosophy. Yeah, because it's like what you're doing is not permanent because well, the painting ended up not being permanent, right? It had to be it had to be restored at some point. And then you get, you know, people that take it matters into their own hands, like that crazy woman that painted over Jesus
Yup.
and made him look really derpy. That was
It became a
horrible.
meme though.
It
so I
did,
guess,
yeah.
like, in some way, you know.
I don't even know. Balance leading the
I'm curious
eye.
about leading the eye.
Yeah, let's do that. I like the snails.
You've come to
Me
Leading
too.
the Eye. The artist carefully plans his composition to lead your eye in a particular
That
order
pinball
and
machine?
direction. What are
I
some
know
of
it's like
the
the Windows
lines that we
98
follow?
like
Yeah,
pinball machine.
Click
pinball
on
game.
one
Or
of the
XP,
icons
Windows
to
XP,
see some
like
imaginary
yeah.
lines.
Snail mentions yellow.
Snail mention.
Yellow's in here, yeah.
We got our sluggy tubers. Come out, sluggy tubers.
Okay.
Okay. Interesting.
Wait, what is this? Yeah, is this a
Click where you
game
think
or?
the center of attention
my
is
gosh.
in this painting.
Oh, Rubens? Is this Peter Paul Rubens?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
The wolf hunt. Cool.
Which is cool because it kind of looks more modern. It kind of looks like something that you would
Click
see
where
like
you think
an
the
American painter like in the 1800s or 1900s make.
Right. Very cool. Body.
We follow the line of a person's body or limbs.
Oh, I kind of see what they're saying.
I
Oh my
see.
gosh.
Whoa.
That's okay. So on the right, that's obviously like an Egyptian figure.
Yeah.
But why does he look like Eddie Murphy?
He kind of does. He's got that stash, you know?
Yeah, he has the stash. He has the hair.
They're all pointing.
I know. They're pointing.
I love these animations. They're so good.
I know. They're so charming. They're leading the way.
Meh. Oh, God. Go to your house.
I know.
What?
Okay.
Just going home to be with the wife.
Yeah.
What?
In this world of like
Oh, it's just back
art
to
that is
Rubens.
literally coming alive.
Yeah. Very interesting. Balance?
Hello. You
Hello.
found balance. Symmetry makes for balance.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What's going on here?
Oh my god, it's like a.
We got like
it's
dice here.
I know he's gonna die if he.
Yo,
if he
bro,
just-
you gotta
He almost died, bro.
get that
Run away.
get that D12, run away. What?
Hello?
I don't know
A
what.
symmetrical painting can give us a feeling of tranquility, stability,
Oh.
and harmony.
I was gonna say this is like me overthinking at 3 a.m.
Yeah, Bringo
Artists
Burr.
often
Can't go to
achieve
sleep
balance
now.
by arranging the elements
Yeah,
of a painting
Bringo
into
Gotta
a
create my
larger
Rube
symmetrical
Goldberg
shape,
machine.
such as a triangle or circle.
Oh my god.
Oh
An
no, he's
asymmetrical
dead.
picture, on the other hand, is unbalanced. But that
Where
doesn't
did
mean
the
it's a
horse
bad
come from?
painting.
I know.
The artist uses symmetry purposely to create a sense of unease or drama
Oh,
or action.
yeah.
It's funny. I did have an illustration professor that hated symmetry. Like,
Really?
Take a look at the
Yeah,
examples
he was like.
to learn
I think
more.
it's just one of those like practicing good habits thing. I think what he means by it is not necessarily like never use symmetry ever, but he was just
Drag each of
vehemently
the icons
against
below.
it so that you just had good habits of like because the thing with symmetry in a painting is that it implies like authority, order.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
stuff like that, and you want to make kind of more dynamic and interesting composition. So it's kind of the same reason why like some art teachers don't like anime style.
Mhm.
It's not that they necessarily hate anime. It's more so that like you need to learn the rules of like proportions. For
Okay,
example,
yeah.
so that you know how to break it. So that when you do draw
Yeah.
an anime style, it can look a lot better.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think it's true for any sort of educational pursuit. You want to know how to do it right before you know, like go outside the boundaries, because it's good to have that basis of that framework. But again, like it's all subjective, right? In the end.
It is. That's the thing. It is. And like I get like practicing good habits, but there are so many like self-taught people that like
Yeah.
learn in different ways.
Yeah, for sure. So I've conditioned myself to keep making sure I click for my sticka whenever I see Babinka on the
Oh my
telly. And I've
yes,
done this at least 5 times now. I'm sorry, we're on my channel. It's more boring. But you can you can berate us with the mechanic radio message if you want.
I was gonna say I love that redeem the,
Yeah,
the
it's so
radio
good.
message.
I gotta work more on those. I've definitely inspired by shindigs on that one.
Shindigs,
But
yeah.
oh my god, this piece is so amazing. I want to look at this one.
I've never seen this
This
one.
is
painting
Degas
by
again.
Degas is called La
That's
La
thank
at
God
the
that looks
Cirque
like
Fernandez.
something from the 90s. Like
That's
It's
so
a purposely
cool.
the
unbalanced
fashion looks
painting.
very
Oh, it didn't
The
work.
Nice.
circus performer
Oh,
is
wait, hang
hanging
on.
by her teeth in the upper left corner. Her figure isn't balanced by any other figure. Maybe the artist wanted to emphasize the isolation of the performer, or create in the viewer the kind of worry we often feel when watching an acrobat. See what a different feeling we get when the composition is balanced and the figure is in the center. What feeling do you get from this composition?
Yeah, it's kind of like what we were talking about, like cropping an
was
anime
influenced
picture.
by the newly invented
Right.
camera and the unusual cropping that often happens by accident in photography.
I love this. I don't know what about it. I think it's just like how she's suspended in the air, but there's like movement too, or it's almost like a feeling of anticipation, right? You're like so excited for like the next thing to happen. I don't know. This is just one of those pieces you look at and you go, oh my god, that's like, I don't know if it's like my shit.
It's
but
a moment
like,
in time.
Yeah, it's a moment in time. Yeah.
I love it. I also like the one on the top right.
Top right? Yeah, let's
This
go back. Let's
painting,
go back.
Yeah.
The School of
That's in our
Athens by
Raphael. This one's kind of, it's gorgeous, but it's also like kind of boring to me at the
It
same
is,
time. I'm just like, oh, it's a
It has a lot
beautiful,
of-
you know,
It
archway,
has interesting
but
symmetry.
yeah, and there's a lot of people, but it's just like, okay,
Mhm.
This one.
This one
Matisse?
is
Painting by
Matisse,
called
and
The
this
Dance.
is after
The arms of the
once again
figures
going back to the
form a
whole like
circle.
advent of photography, like
The fact that each
turning into
dancer is
weird
stepping
art.
to the music
This style I believe
differently
is
could
called
have created a sense of
fauvism, and it comes
confusion.
from like
But the
I
circle
think
of
a French word
arms
meaning like the
dominates
wild
and creates
beast.
an overriding
Oh.
feeling of
And like
unity.
to us nowadays, it's like it's just
The
people
green bottom
dancing, like,
section
and
of
they're
the
kind of
painting
wonky.
mirrors
But
the shape
back
of the
then, it was
dancer's
like
arms
these
in the
people
blue
paint
upper
like they're
section,
wild
making
beasts.
a
Like
sense
that's where the
of
name
unity.
came from. Yeah.
Huh.
Matisse liked
Because
this
they're kind of
composition
breaking
so
all
much
the, like look at the
Breaking the
anatomy.
rules,
It's not
yeah.
exactly.
This
Yeah, they're
painting.
breaking all the rules. So that's why like
One
at the
hangs
time
in
it's
St.
like these
Petersburg,
wild beasts
Russia.
are like
The other is in New York City.
taking
Clearly,
apart
this
the
painting is
fundamentals of
admired the
art
world
to
over.
make their like their wild art. You know.
Got it.
Matisse the goat.
The dance. It's in the
I've
MoMA.
seen a couple of artworks like reference this one too. It's one of those like things that like begs for a lot of people to like do their own take on it.
Right, right.
Hello.
Hello. Feelings.
Are you ready to
Feelings.
explore feelings? The composition of a painting can be used to communicate a feeling. How would you arrange
All
the
right.
shapes
I don't want to play
below
the
to
game, but I
create
definitely
your
want to
own
look at some of the
composition that
examples.
Sure.
Anxiety. That's a good one for me.
Mm.
Oh, the scream.
Of
Oh,
course,
yep, the
colors convey
scream. We just
anxiety
talked about
here,
this, yeah.
especially the unnatural red and yellow of the sky. But the composition itself conveys anxiety too. The strong diagonal of the bridge and the wavy lines of the field.
I don't know.
lake,
I
and
never
sky
noticed there's like
aim to
two
make us
figures
feel
back here.
unsettled and
Yeah,
agitated.
yeah.
Huh.
And they're kind of faceless, you know.
Yeah.
The top
See
half of
that?
this
So
picture
you don't
is
know their
filled with
intention.
lines
Right.
like shockwaves that push down
I
on
think
the
this
screaming
painting was used
figure.
as an example of like, yes,
While
the
the
sky
straight
could be
lines
red
defining
because
the
it's
people in
like
the
just
background show
sunset,
that
but
they
it
do
could
not
also be
share the
like.
anxiety
I've seen
of
people
the
argue that
person
like, oh, what if
screaming.
it's like right after an
The screaming
eruption, you know,
face
from a
Right,
volcano.
into
yeah.
I think this
white
might have been the
mask
same
that
time as
conveys
like I don't know if it's
terror and
Krakatoa. I
despair.
am so like bad with like years.
1893. Interesting.
And then other people are saying that like this could also be like a hint at like climate change,
course,
like
the
back then
colors
or
can-
something. Like I forgot what was the idea behind it, but it was like measuring either the redness or like the clouds or something like that to measure climate change.
Fascinating. Loneliness.
Loneliness.
Aw.
In this
Oh,
asymmetrical
Degas
painting,
again,
Absent by Edgar Degas.
There's a more modern slash
The two people
contemporary
are
artist that
shifted to
does
the upper right
loneliness really
corner.
well. It's the guy who did Nighthawks.
Nighthawks.
their
Yeah, that's my
loneliness
favorite.
and
That's my
isolation.
favorite piece of fine art. Yeah.
Notice that the woman is looking
His paintings
down,
are all
which may convey
Edward
s-
Hopper.
Hopper.
Edward Hopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm noticing that they don't use a lot of like the more like 20th century art. They're using a lot of kind of like 18th, 19th century art, but
No, they don't have it here.
Oh, they don't?
That's
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's sad.
he does a really good job of portraying
about
just
to
like
pl-
loneliness, even with
Artist Vincent van Gogh.
art that has like multiple people in it.
Yeah, I've wanted to get a print of Nighthawks for a while. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Yeah, this is a cool Van Gogh piece.
Oh yeah.
Thoughts on Van Gogh? You're a fan?
I like
or-
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan because like, well, for me, like, he was like the quintessential struggling artist.
You
Like,
can relate,
the
right?
poor
Yeah.
guy, yeah, the poor guy like just never sold a painting, I think, in his life.
Right.
And it wasn't until after he died that he sold it. And then there's a lot of clues saying that he definitely had a lot of mental issues, like
Yeah.
mental illnesses that like kind of manifested in his art. And I'm a sucker for that one Doctor Who episode.
I
that's
saw.
centered
I've
on
seen
him.
the. I haven't seen the whole episode, but I saw like the scene where like they take him to the future and they're like, "Look,
Mhm.
look, you're amazing," and he's like, "No," and he just starts like sobbing.
Yeah, like they ask a curator like what he thinks of Van
Yeah.
Gogh, and the guy's like, I think he's one of the most like gifted artists of
Yeah.
his time. And I think what spoke to me is that one line where the curator says like he turned like the anguish and like loneliness in his life into such like bright and like beautiful paintings. And it's true, because like just this painting right here, like all of the yellow and
Yeah.
I don't know, like his like he's trying to highlight how light works, and it's like
Yeah.
despite how crappy his life was, he like made this like beautiful piece. So
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of
You're
Van
about
That's
to
great.
play.
Gogh. Mhm.
Oh God, where are we now? All right. Let's go check out the. What was the last one? Composition.
I think it was light.
Oh, light,
I
light,
think
yeah.
we- Yeah.
Whee!
Whee!
I have so much fun doing that. Ah, light.
I'm gonna mute just for a second to
Yeah.
ask Bean something.
No
but
worries.
I'll be right back with you.
Sure. All right, mechanics, let's take a little stretch break, little water break. How are you all doing? You having fun? Having fun with the stream? Sorry I didn't have the mechanic redeem up. That was my bad. I forgot to start up Sammy. I got to make that part of my my batch file to start everything up. And, take a look around the scene here.
It's okay, Owen. We still love you.
I still love you. I
right, I'm
still
back.
love you. Hello, welcome back.
Come back to
Sorry.
you, you giving some affection to the mechanic.
Yeah, we're exchanging our pleasantries.
I just like I'm back. I still love you. Oh, there he is again.
Pip's having a
What's
bad
going
time.
on
Well,
with-
he couldn't find the
Now
light
I've
switch.
seen the light.
Oh,
poor
now
guy.
I've seen the
One
light.
of the greatest illusions in the artist's bag of
Knee
tricks.
slapper.
After all, you can't make light with paint and brush, and yet artists do it. How do they do it? Hop over to Creating Light.
Okay, all right.
Get ready for playing. Here, we've made a simulation
Oh
of the
wow,
painting.
these 3D models.
Click on objects in it
Cool.
to change the direction and brightness of the light source.
Oh.
You may be surprised how much
Oh,
you
I
change
see.
feeling, mood, and meaning in a painting when you change the visual focus, even if the scene remains the same.
Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So foreground. Oh, from the right. Yep. One of my
makes a
favorite
little-
ways to light actors is from a top down. So like, you know, like The Godfather, they're shining a light like from directly like above his head to give it that like dark, menacing kind of look. That's, you know,
Oh yeah.
so cool. Is
And
there
you
any,
got the spotlight too.
any other? Oh, another spotlight there.
Yeah, you have recognized this painting. I don't recognize it, but I do see a lot of like common, I guess, motifs.
Roll
that you
your
see in
cursor
art.
over the
Cool.
painting and click on the artifact banner to find out more.
So this is Still Life, an allegory of the vanities of human life.
Yeah, because you got the anytime you see a skull in artwork, especially like back then, it's a memento mori, which
Get ready for
I think a lot of
here.
people might know what it means, but it's basically it sums up in remember that one day you will
Roll
die.
your cursor over the
that you are
painting
mortal.
Yeah.
and click on the artifact
And
banner.
it comes
to
up a
find
lot
out
in like
more.
religious art, but just in general, it's like the skull is always meant to be like, oh yeah, like remember your mortality. type of
Right.
thing.
Then, as now, the skull is a reminder of death and the transitory
see?
nature of
Stop
human
it.
ambitions, pleasures,
You know it.
and even wisdom.
What is this katana doing back here?
Yeah, I
The
wonder
sword
if
is
it's like
physical and political power.
okay.
Okay.
Why does it look like a katana?
I don't know.
That implies trade.
Well,
that
there-
implies like
There's really interesting artifacts here. I mean, like, look at this, like, lamp. This is, like, almost, like, maybe Middle Eastern or Turkish or something.
Without a light in it, the lamp reminds the viewer of the darkness that lies beyond human life.
There's one crazy painting
Okay.
from this period that has a skull, but it's sheared so hard sideways you can barely make it out. Wow.
Yeah, I've seen that one where it's almost like someone used the skew tool in Photoshop to skew, but it's a painting. Like
Huh.
that means that like the painting is actually supposed to be viewed from a certain point of view so that it looks like it's an optical illusion. Yeah.
Got it.
What Cielo said, you have to stand to the side to see
To the
it.
side. Interesting.
And the thing is, they
The
don't
book
try to
represents
hide it.
learning
It's like
and
smack
wisdom.
dab in the middle of this portraiture with like two guys. And it seems almost random. It really does seem like someone just fixed it in Photoshop.
Huh.
But, yeah.
The wine jug
If someone
stands
can
for
find it in
sensual
chat, if
pleasure.
you guys have
Yeah,
the time.
let us
It's
know.
wild.
Yeah, I want to see that. If we can't, maybe it's in the game, but I don't know. Maybe I can just pull it up on Google or
Get
whatever.
ready for playing with light. Here
let's go
we've
back. Creating light.
Oh,
You're
there we go.
about
I
to
think
create
you found
light.
The
it.
ambassadors.
Shadow
whole beam.
creates depth and dimension, a sense of realism. Simple outlining isn't enough.
Oh.
Yet shadow by itself isn't enough either.
Oh, what?
Click on one of the icons
Oh, I think I've
at the
seen this
left of the
before.
screen.
Yeah,
And
that
when it
skull.
appears at the
That's
center of the
crazy.
Yeah,
screen,
huh? It's not
see
loading
if
for
you
me.
can
I'm
match
hoping that doesn't
shape
mean my
to
internet
shade
is like
to see
going down
how
or something.
outlining and shadowing
It's massive.
complement
That's
each
the
other
thing.
to create an
Oh, the
image.
picture is huge. I see. Mac also just Google it, the ambassadors. Whole beam. Yeah, I see it now. You see how it's just like smack dab in the middle of those two dudes?
Mhm.
Light
Yeah,
on a
it's just like
canvas.
it's just hanging out there. It's like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
This is more lighting game stuff. But get this,
cool.
1533. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Let's get to the paintings in this section.
Sure.
History. There we go.
History of light.
Yeah.
The history of
Oh,
light.
there you go.
The use of light and shading to create the illusion of reality on a flat surface
You got
seems
some good
natural
examples
to
here. You
us.
got like the
it
medieval art
wasn't.
one in the top left.
This one, yeah. It's 1300.
I think that one might be
Oh.
Toward the end of
Johto.
what
Yep.
we
Yeah, it
call
is.
the Middle Ages.
You
Johto is
called
usually-
it. You are an art
Yeah.
historian.
Giotto, whose death of Saint Francis you see
Well,
here,
it's because this guy
developed a
is
technique for rendering
he's famous
objects so
for
that
like
they
a lot of people
appeared
say that he's the
three-dimensional.
transition between medieval and
Oh.
The painters who
Oh,
came
okay.
after Giotto were
Like, he's always
fascinated
the-
by the
you know, that's like a
challenges
test
of showing
question.
Got
three-dimensional
it. So
objects
he
Should I
was
always
like
get-
ahead of the other artists of his
For the next
time.
200
Okay.
years,
Yeah,
painting
because it still
struggled to
has some
become
medieval,
representational
you know, like
to provide what Renaissance
I
artists
guess
termed
motifs and
a
tendencies,
window
like,
onto reality.
trying to think of some examples just from
Renaissance
this one alone.
paintings had a single light source, with the objects illuminated.
Because now I'm
all
seeing more
casting
Renaissance, like
shadows
for example, just
all
the
in one
overlap
direction.
between like the people
This
carrying that
realism
banner.
would
Yeah.
characterize
It's
Western
not
art
it's not
up until
like
the
super
modern
realistic,
period.
but there's a sense of overlap.
There is
you know?
overlap. Yeah, it's not flat. Hello,
Yeah.
Mayshark. Welcome to the channel.
Hey, Shark. Hello.
No, I
Hello,
love
hello.
this. This is so cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a transition because it's like it's still flat, but you see that they're trying to make some attempts to make it a little bit more realistic.
Very cool.
Whereas if you compare if you go back and go to the
Toward the
like
end
top
of
top
what we
or like
call
the leftmost in the gallery,
Yeah. Yep.
that is more so
Got
Light
it.
and
That one
shadow
is
show
medieval.
that time is passing.
This
very
In
flat.
eternity,
Very flat
there
Madonna
is
and
no
Child.
light and shadow.
Mm-hmm.
The aim of Byzantine
And
and
the
early
child,
Christian art,
the
such as
funny
this
thing
Madonna
about
and
like
Child
baby
by
Jesus
Jim
during this
Aboué
time is that
was to
he's always
depict
shown us like
scenes from the life
a
of Jesus.
small man.
Yeah.
While these
Yeah.
events happened at a particular
Not
time
necessarily
in
as
the
like
past,
a baby,
they were
but like a
understood
small
Right.
man.
as
And that was
mirrors of
actually
eternity.
intentional. That was to show that like
The light in
Jesus,
this painting
you know,
is
he
a
is
godly,
God, or like, you know,
symbolic
according
light,
to their belief,
concentrated
he is
on the
God.
central figures
And he
without
was
an
already
apparent
he was
light
born
source.
perfectly formed.
Right.
The point
Right.
is
So
emphasized by
this
the
is actually
artist's
like
use of
a
gold
way
leaf.
for medieval artists to show this idea
Also,
that
the
he's
use
like
of
almost like a
gold as a
homunculus.
color
That like
shows that the
he
artist
wasn't
was
a
unconcerned
little
or even
helpless
hostile to
baby and grew
realism.
into a man. No, he was already
Sometimes
perfect when he was.
jewels
Yeah.
are embedded in
So
icons
the way they
to
show it
add
is by
luster
showing
and
him as like a
preciousness to the
tiny
religious
person.
message.
Yeah.
Question mark.
That's so bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Oop.
So in comparison, like from this to what we see with Johto, like it's not quite to
Light and-
Renaissance, but you know he's trying to he's doing his best.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you?
Yeah.
You've probably been to a lot of museums out there. So have you been to the cloisters in New York, like down in the Bronx?
No, the only time I've only been to New York once, but I went to
Okay.
the Met when I
Oh,
was
okay.
there.
Well, yeah, you got to go to the
Yeah.
Met. So,
Yeah, yeah.
north of Manhattan in the Bronx, there's this museum called the Cloisters, and it was built by the Rockefellers. They literally built like their own
Oh.
monastery, and
Oh, wow,
they
okay.
literally shipped over like the stonework from monasteries in Europe to build it, and it's full of pre-Renaissance art like this, and
Oh,
also like some
cool.
Renaissance as well, but mostly like pre-Renaissance. So there's tons and tons of examples like this in there, and also like like artifacts and carvings and things like that as well. Really, really
Yeah.
fascinating art museum to go to if you ever get the chance.
Oh, cool. Nice, nice.
What else we got? This
Yeah, check
I'm
it out.
really excited to look at this one
Yeah,
here.
let's see this one. 1636. Oh, Rembrandt. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the light guy. He's the light dude. He's
Wow,
all
they
about
have
like
nothing to say about this. They're just like, yep, it's a Rembrandt.
It's a Rembrandt.
The same ticket that gets you into the Met gets you into the Cloisters too, but good looking to both in one day. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, dang.
The Blinding of Samson. Yeah, this looks massive. Yeah,
Oh,
7
dang,
feet
yeah.
by 7, well, almost
7
8 feet
feet.
by 9.5 feet. Jeez.
Jeez. And it's such a dramatic, like
In
the use
Rembrandt's
of light in
Blinding
all
of
of
Samson,
Rembrandt's works are
light
like
is used
very
in 3
dramatic,
ways
just so that you could like
to create a highly realistic scene,
Whoa.
yeah, what
to
he said,
heighten
what
the
he
drama,
said.
and also to create important elements in the composition of the painting. The biblical story recounts the capture and maiming of the Israelite hero Samson
Look at the light
after
on the
his
armor.
Philistine lover
Yeah.
Delilah
That's
so
like
betrays
shiny.
him by
really
cutting his
intense.
hair.
Mhm.
The treacherous Delilah is brilliantly lit as she escapes, the scissors and locks of hair still in her hand. The brightness that illuminates her also emphasizes Samson's now helpless limbs. The painter has also lit the soldiers performing their gruesome task, emphasizing the opposing diagonal they form to the body of the victimized
Delilah.
Samson. The darkness surrounding the scene
like in
and
New
the
York
fragmentation of
City.
its lighting are compositional elements that also add to the drama of the scene.
Yeah, that's he is basically like the guy of dramatic
Mhm.
lighting.
Yeah. Wow. That's intense. She gonna sell that hair merch? Oh, this one. I know this one.
Oh yeah, that's
This is in our
Vermeer.
Vermeer,
Though
yeah.
only about 40
Yeah,
of his
yeah.
works survive, the painter Vermeer is generally
He's so
considered one of the
British, I just
greatest
remember-
masters
There's
of
like
light.
a famous painting
This
of
simple domestic scene,
the
called
crucifixion
the
of
kitchen maid,
Jesus.
shows the
There
light
is a
source
figure, I
and
forgot
aims
her
at a
name.
completely
There's a figure
realistic
who like
rendering
famously
of
like
how
gives
the daylight
Jesus like
from the
as he's
window
walking to the
falls on the
crucifixion.
woman's face,
He gives
chest, and arms.
she gives him like a cloth to wash
The
his
domestic
face,
Yeah.
to, like
scene
the
itself
sweat out of
indicates
his
how far
his
Right.
painting
face.
by the mid-1600s
And then it results in like
had moved away
an
from
icon, like
religious
a
and
miracle in which
mythological
Jesus'
subject matter
face is on
to
the
Yeah,
appreciation
the
of
Shroud of Turin,
everyday
right?
reality.
Oh no, that's something
Yeah.
else. Actually, that's
Vermeer's
another one.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
something else. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
something
yeah.
else.
That's the one they
His
wrapped him
mastery
in
of
after
doing
he
it,
died. Yeah,
making him an
sorry.
important precursor
But
of the
there's a
Impressionist
painting that
painters
shows that
who lived
happening,
more than
but
2
people like
centuries later.
there was like a Tumblr post of like, oh my god, I can't believe she's selling merch at the crucifixion.
God, I love those kinds of memes. The not blasphemous, but like just kind
Yeah.
of irreverent. The irreverence of it.
Yeah.
Like growing up like in a church and like going to church every weekend and stuff. I'm just like I can't help but like laugh at that kind of shit. It's
Yeah.
just too funny.
She's selling the Jesus merch. Wow.
We'll pick like a couple more. I'm having a good time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I probably want to wrap this up soon. But what's this
Sure,
Turner.
sure.
Oh,
The artist Turner is an
Oh,
important
this looks a
transitional
bit more
figure.
modern. Is
Yeah.
it still
Light,
like?
the subject of his landscapes, rather than just a decorative background.
Oh yeah, landscapes is definitely like
This
I
painting,
associate that
which
with like
appears almost abstract,
there's like
is
a genre
based
of like
on
American
careful
painting.
observation
Mm.
of nature,
Exactly, that
of
is,
light
like,
and
very
darkness,
much like
and
landscape.
nuances of the
Mhm.
atmosphere
The
during a
unused
catastrophic
land.
desert.
yeah, yeah. The God's country,
Note the
the
sunlight
on the
the
calm
virgin
waters
lands of the
above.
West. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and the
Mhm.
attention given to the roiling waters below, in which you can make
I
out the
couldn't even
shapes
see
of
those
animals,
animals.
some finding shelter,
Is that a
some
crocodile?
being destroyed by the
Yeah,
Wait,
flood.
there's a
yeah,
pig
that-
down there.
Yeah.
In the lower left, half hidden by dark seas, is a small human habitation, a warm
Actually,
light
is
in the
this
surrounding
modern?
darkness.
Can you look at stats?
Yeah, look at the
and-
stats. We
a
handle
variety-
this guy.
Yeah.
1843. Yeah, pretty modern.
Ah, yeah. Evening of the Deluge. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little like murky compared to everything.
It is,
The artist
yeah.
Turner is an
Cool, though,
important
What the heck is this?
Yeah, what is
Caravaggio.
that? Oh, Caravaggio.
Caravaggio
He's
uses
another
light
like
here in
light
three
guy.
ways.
He's got like.
The
I know I just
brilliance
said
of the
that
light is
Rembrandt is the
carefully
light guy, but
modeled
he's
to
like
illuminate a realistic
like
scene.
he's even more with like the
But the
dramatic
light is
lighting.
also,
yeah.
in a way, the subject here.
Is he about to get
Paul's
stomped
arms
on?
are opened in an ecstasy
I think
to
so.
welcome the
He,
divine light.
I think
even
Caravaggio
while
did
his
that one
servant
painting of the
and
guy
dumb
getting
horse
beheaded. It's
remain
like a
Oh,
biblical
yeah,
story.
yeah, where they're
See
they're
nothing.
cutting off
Yeah.
his head. Yeah.
Light
Yeah.
and the contrast between the light and the dark is also used to heighten the drama. Thus, light shows the
I think
painter's
it's also
mastery
Caravaggio
of
that
his
does
craft,
like amazing
even while
sculptures
it becomes
too.
the symbol of the event.
Caravaggio sculpture.
Despite the danger, this is kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. This guy's like looking pretty tasty down there.
Yep.
When I think of Caravaggio, I remember a piece where there's a figure holding a candle and you can see the light through his fingers. It's just absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
You know, so thinking of that, so and computer graphics don't wow me that often anymore because they have become so photorealistic. But I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and there's this scene where you roll into town, and then the way the light is, it's very intense, and you can see the light through the main character's like ear, like shining through and showing you like the
that's
blood
sick.
in their ear, and I was like, wow, like stuff like that, little things like that are kind of like, man, that really stands out in a way that like I don't think artistically enough games kind of push that far these days. Yeah, that shit is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it's hard for me to put into words, but I'm just like, oh my
Yeah.
god, what is this? Oil on canvas.
Yeah, conversion.
The conversion.
I actually don't know the story. Like, why is he getting stopped?
I don't know.
Is that the conversion?
They're converting his head into mush,
The
I
artist
guess. I don't
Caravaggio's
know.
conversion of Saint
Oh lordy.
Oh, we looked at that one. Sorry.
toward the
Oh
end
yeah,
of
that's
what
not
we
just.
call the
Okay,
middle.
you're good.
I kind
you're
of.
good.
Oh, this one with the stained glass. Oh, it's just.
Oh yeah.
Remember
stained glass
that
is
you are
very
in a
pretty.
time before electricity. Candles and lanterns help, especially at
Oh
night.
yeah, this goes
But
into
in
my whole
medieval
love of like
churches,
Gothic
daylight
architecture.
came
Yeah.
through
That's
stained
where you start
glass
to see like
windows,
stained glass art.
decorated with
And the whole
religious
thing with Gothic
scenes.
architecture is that
The aim was to create an atmosphere
the point
and
of
a
it is
mood.
to
the window before you
give
shows a
churches
scene from
more
the life of
height
the
and
12th
light. Like that was like the test question that I was given.
Oh.
It's like, like in an essay, answer what's the, light and height for Gothic architecture. And it's basically, yeah, like so many things about Gothic architecture are to take the strain off of like load bearing it so that
Sure.
you have room for windows.
Right.
And with those windows, you let in more light. And then with the philosophy was that the more light you let into the church, the more godliness, the more like, of the
Oh.
spirit you let into the church.
Wow.
Remember
So,
that you were in a
like covering it with color, wouldn't that like dim the amount of light that came in, or is it just like it's so beautiful? It's just
It's
Okay.
it's like the beauty of it too.
Mhm.
Like the beauty of it was also more of like, God's love, God's light.
Very
Mhm.
cool. All right, I want to pop out to like the index and see if there's any like other cool paintings we might want to take a look at.
Sure,
I guess it's like alphabetical. I don't know if I want to like click through each one, but we could just kind of poke around here.
Yeah.
Homer. Hope. Any like artists that you or pieces that you're like interested in, you might want to talk about or show off?
I know we already looked at the Bosch one. That's kind of like my usual go-to. And it looks like this one doesn't usually have
Renoir?
more modern artists.
Yeah, I was saying Renoir.
Okay, yeah, let's see Renoir.
Oh, this is by piece. What if we go to here? Wait, hold on. Well, we are in the index database. Is that it? Oh yeah, here we go.
Ooh,
Renoir.
French art.
Here we
Okay,
go.
Pierre Auguste.
Oh,
there you go.
Cool.
Nice. I don't know if he's the one one of my favorite art pieces is one of like a little dog. It's called like the dynamics of something something. Let me see if I can find it. But it's kind of in this style. Dog walking. No, I can't find it anymore. Painting.
Go back to the index real quick.
Oh, I found the painting, but it's not written well. But I'll link it in your chat. It's a cute one. It's called The Dynamics of a Dog on a Leash. And it just shows, like,
Just
it's
because
basically a
something is
woman walking her
impossible
dog, but the way
doesn't
that the
mean you
legs are
can't
drawn
see
are
it.
very, like, oh, yeah.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
this
Do you
little
see in this
doggy.
picture?
Oh, that's so weird.
When
I've
you
never
give up
seen
counting,
that before.
move your mouse around the picture for answers.
Dynamism of a dog on a leash.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Super cute.
This scene is really cool from Hogarth. This like whole like
Yeah.
there's a lot going on here and like many different layers. I love this guy up here, up in the background. He's just like going on a
He's
trek
got it
somewhere.
Is this like engraving or? Oh,
It is
yeah,
an
it's
engraving. Yeah, I was like, that looks like wood, you know?
Just because
Well,
something
it
is
could,
impossible.
well, I guess it would be called woodcut.
Woodcut, yeah.
Yeah, woodcut would be. For engraving, I guess. Actually, I'm showing what I don't know. I actually don't know what it would be for engraving. Maybe metal?
Yeah. Maybe it has something in here. Engraver. Tell me like what he used, what he engraved in. No, they're not going to tell me. Okay.
Yeah, they're not. It's okay.
That's okay. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, wait. Wait, this one.
Oh,
there we
that's,
go. Escher.
Which way is up?
Escher, yeah.
In this print
It's like
by
two
Escher
initial
called
MC
Relativity,
Escher, yeah.
each person moves as if he knows for sure, and each section seen by itself
I think
seems
this
to
might be
make
the
sense.
most modern thing that they have.
Yeah, I think
Strange
so
building.
too.
One person
Yeah.
can wind up walking on someone else's wall.
But this is cool though. I
Escher
used to have a
created
whole
this
book of
impossible
just like
world
Oh, really?
by breaking the rule of
painting
perspective
or not
that
like
says we
artworks
should
that
see a scene
is like
from one fixed
has to do with like
position.
kind of illusions.
Instead,
And one of
he
my
created the
favorite of
picture
that
by
genre
combining
is
several
I
points
forgot
of
his
view.
name, but the painting
In this
is
section, we're looking up.
escaping
It's as though
critique.
we're following this guy up the stairs.
It's kind of
with that guy up
intentionally and
there
unintentionally
looking down at
funny
us.
because it's a kid crawling out
Here's
of
the
like
original
a
picture
frame.
again.
But the expression on his face is like, what?
Now,
what did you
look
say
what
about?
happens when we turn the picture 90
What
degrees to
did
the
you
right.
just say about
Yeah,
you
yeah.
little...
I'm putting it in chat.
It seems as if we're at the same level as the
look.
people outside.
Uh,
The scene
oh!
looks pretty
What
normal
the
from here.
What is that face?
Click when you
Excuse?
want
It's
to
like
continue.
excuse me? What did you
Yeah,
just...
especially since the title is escaping criticism. It's like, you know what? I don't really like the lighting in this painting, and he's like, "What did you just say?" Say it to
Oh my god.
face.
Say it to my face when we're not online. Oh my god. That's insane. All right, we'll look at like one or two more, and then we're gonna call it.
Illusion of perspective.
Oh, this is cool. Why do we,
You
how
have
do we
entered
not get here?
The
how
illusion
do we get
of
to this one?
perspective. Artists can play with the techniques of perspective
Mm.
to make us see the impossible.
Oh
People
yeah,
miles
perspective.
apart, touching each other, or a person walking on walls.
Oh, you know what? There was a whole section on
There are
perspective.
four
I
main
think that's
rules
how
that
it
Oh, we
artists
missed
can
it.
break
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
combine in unusual ways
perspective,
to create
especially when you
illusions.
like learning how to
These have to
draw
do with
or paint
overlapping
it is
objects,
actually like
size and
super
distance,
satisfying to
viewing
me
position,
because
and
it's almost like a
converging
mathematical
lines.
formula on how to get it right.
Mhm.
When you're taught it in a math class, they give you all the tools, like it's like a ruler
Click
and
the examples to see illusions
if you're doing
created
what's
by
called like
playing
one
with the
point
rules of
perspective, it's actually like it's kind of easy. Like if your brain works in a way that like kind of using mathematical like formulas makes more sense,
Mhm.
you might like learning about perspective. Not just you, but like anyone in chat that like I'd say give it a chance. It seems hard, but it's doable.
Mhm.
Welcome to viewing position. Without even thinking about it, we usually
this is
look at a
Las
painting by
Meninas.
standing right in front of it.
This piece here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But not all paintings are meant to be looked at that way. Some paintings should be looked at from the side or from below.
If they
in
don't
order
have
for
the
us to see
skull
the
one in
image
here,
properly.
I'm gonna be disappointed.
I know that seems like it'd be perfect for them.
This
Oh
guy.
jeez.
All
Where
right.
are the guards? Where are the guards in this museum?
All right, we just got these three, I guess.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Oh wait.
This
Go
paint
back.
with
Go
cute-
back.
Yeah,
Go back.
they had it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
There you go.
This painting, The Ambassadors,
That's
by
amazing.
Hans Holbein
I hope
the
they like
Younger,
Yeah.
rotate it
shows the
for
French
us.
ambassador to England on
I
the
hope so
left,
too.
and his friend, the Bishop of Laval, on the right.
Just
I
two,
was- I
just
don't
two
know, what was
bros.
Symbols of their
Yeah, I was gonna say,
worldly
like, what's going
knowledge
through
and
the painter's mind
achievements,
that he's like,
including a
all right, I
lute,
got commissioned
flutes,
something
a
with two
globe,
bros.
astrological
But what if I
instruments,
put a
and
sixth
mathematical
skull?
instruments on the table, which record the time and date, 10:30 in the
It's
morning.
it's that
on April
time when you
11th,
commission the artist and you're like,
1533.
yeah, I want this and that, but
While
like
this
go
painting is
crazy,
meant
do
to
what
be
do
viewed
what
head
you
on,
want.
It contains a
I
hidden
love
message that
doing
reveals
that to the
itself
artists I
only
commission.
when
I'm
it
just
is
like,
viewed from
this is
a
what I want, but
particular
like go
angle.
ham, like you know.
Yeah.
See that strange
What's more
object
exciting
at
to
the
you?
bottom of the painting? Click on it to see what it is.
I commissioned someone recently, and I said to him, he gave me like 2 thumbnails, and he's like, all right, do you want left or right? And I'm like, well, I really like the left one, but I'm kind of going toward the right. Like, what would you have the most fun doing? He's like, definitely the right. The left one is too claustrophobic. I was like, my man, let's do it.
There you go. There you go.
This is what you would see if you could stand 6.5 feet from the right.
Why do we have pink eye?
And look at it from the eye angle of the two
Bro's got
ambassadors.
pink eye here.
Just one eye too. Just one eye has pink eye.
Whoa, look at that model.
Oh my gosh, those particles. Yeah, there you go.
The painting was supposed to hang on a staircase.
Oh.
It would have been seen from the side, making the image of the skull
pink
apparent. The artist Holbein probably placed this half-concealed image in his painting as a reminder.
Half concealed.
In
I don't
spite
know.
of these
I don't
It's
know
kinda
if
smack
it's
dab in the middle.
concealed.
Death
It's
will claim
pretty
them in the
prominent.
end.
So we're not gonna see what it looks like from.
I was
I
gonna
guess.
say,
I
like,
guess not.
I think the Wikipedia article has it.
Okay, I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so cool though. Like, well, what a waste too to like hang it in a stairway and then like never be able to see it from the front either. But like,
Mhm.
all right, sure.
Yeah, right.
This
This one I
painting by
like too.
Andrea
It's kind of
Mantegna
funny.
was
Like,
created on the ceiling of a room in a palace in Italy.
in the game
meant
that I
to
told
look
you about,
straight up
Four
at
Last
it from
Things,
below.
there's
Yeah.
like an aside where like
Mantegna
these
took advantage
figures
of this
like
fact
are
to
making
create
fun
a
of you.
humorous scene. With Cupid standing on what seems to be the edge of a painted rim. And one woman smiling
get a little
down
bit of, like,
as
angel
though
bite.
she's tempted
Yeah,
to
little
reach that
cherubs,
hole
yep.
and let the planter come crashing down on us. The illusion of a hole in the ceiling is an
I
example
never
of what
realized,
is
yeah, the
called in
plan is gonna
French
come crashing down.
tromperie, or deceiving
It's a
the
little
eye.
precarious, just a
Yeah, it
Mantegna
is.
was copying the
Hell, it
Romans,
makes me a little
who
anxious.
really built the ceiling of their main hall with a hole in it. This painting was meant to create the same visual impression.
Whoa,
When you look
whoa.
at the painting,
Oh,
you can
geez.
turn around 360 degrees, and the
Oh my
painting
god,
is
it's like that.
always
What's the
entertaining.
raccoon meme? The Pedro,
Click with your
Pedro,
mouse
Pedro.
to rotate the painting
Pedo,
and see for
pedo,
yourself.
pedo, pe-
Yeah, yeah.
Very cool. All right, what was this one? Oh, Velasquez.
think-
We're meant to stand
Is that
directly
Las
in front of
Meninas?
this painting. The Maids of Honor.
Let's click the Maids of Honor.
Oh, okay. I think Las Meninas is something else then.
Cool.
We're meant to stand.
I think. No, I'm curious. No, it is Las Meninas. It just has like a
Oh.
different.
You're at
It
history.
just has a different title.
Different title,
That is,
yeah.
That is, yeah.
the English title. Oh, cool. We
Mhm.
missed all these. I want to poke around here real quick.
Sure.
This painting, The Annunciation with Saint Emilius
Oh,
by
these
Carlo
are cool.
Crivelli,
I've never seen this.
portrays the moment when the angel
I've seen
Gabriel tells
similar
Mary
ones, but there's
that
something
she
about
will
the
be the
style
mother
of
of
this one. It's
Jesus.
really cool. It's very like
A fine
they definitely
example
have their
of
knowledge
linear
of, like,
perspective as it
Yeah.
developed in the
But
Renaissance.
this like laser beam
This
coming
rich
out of
scene
heaven,
is very
going
much
into
like a
going into her
photograph
head.
in its realistic
that's just God,
perspective.
you know. you
Just
know how
God
it is.
shooting his
See how
laser
most of the
beams.
lines of the buildings come to a point
to
in
his
the middle of the
little
far window,
fun,
right
like
on the
his
man's
little-
red cap.
Little hee-hee-ha-has.
That point
I love
is
the
called
architecture
vanishing
though. I love
point.
that, you know, they
Mhm.
have this like
And Renaissance artists were careful to
you know,
arrange their pictures
thing up here.
so that the lines of
Mhm.
floors,
I think this is
walls,
actually
and
a good
ceilings
example of what's
would
called
all
one
converge
point.
into one
perspective.
vanishing point.
He's talking about it right
Yeah,
now,
the
but yeah,
vanishing
everything
This is an
converges on
unusual
the-
painting,
Mhm.
though, because the vanishing point is off to one side instead of being in the center.
Mm. Cool. The Annunciation.
Ah, 1486, yeah. Yeah, I've never seen that one, but
This
these are really cool examples. Oh, yo, there's an Egyptian one
one
on
tool
the,
that
after
was
this one.
invented
Yeah.
to
the,
help the artist
the
draw
top
clearly
one.
Yeah,
in
let's go check that
perspective
one out.
was the camera
Sure.
obscura, which means
Oh yeah,
dark
we were just talking
chamber
about the
in
camera
Latin.
obscura.
The original camera obscura really was a darkened room. All the doors and
Oh,
curtains
that's
were
it.
closed,
Okay.
so
Got
no
it.
light
That's it,
entered the
yeah.
room except through a pinhole.
Neat.
An image of the outside world is automatically projected through the
Yep,
pinhole,
it would be
upside
projected,
down,
but reversed.
on the opposite
Mhm,
wall.
yeah.
Reverse.
As it developed, the camera obscura was made smaller and more portable so that artists could use it
camera
outdoors or in an indoor setting for portrait painting.
It
Mirrors
is kind of a prototype for
Yeah, for modern
cameras.
camera. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And I think they would like just use a specific kind of paper to like transfer that image.
Mm.
But oh yeah, like top left.
This one, yeah, the
Yeah,
Egyptian one.
that one's Egyptian. So we got one
Egyptian
ancient
artists
thing.
took a
This is a famous
conceptual
one. It's a
approach to
hunter.
their art.
He's hunting ducks.
and showed
And he has a
each
little-
feature from the angle
Oh my
that showed
god!
its most
What
characteristic
was that?
contour.
Why did they make it
They
frontal?
combined
What
these
the
different
heck?
perspectives in one body. In this fowling scene
So,
from the tomb
on
of
the, like,
Nebamun, the
Slightly
eyes are
below
shown
his
from the
loincloth
front,
is a kitty cat.
while the head is shown in
That,
profile.
that person there?
The
No, no,
chest
no,
is shown from the
That's
front,
not a kitty
and
cat.
the legs are
left.
in
Oh,
profile.
to the left.
Just try
Yeah.
standing like
Wait,
that for
where?
eternity.
Oh, there. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Look
I'm
at
like,
this.
what is
There you go.
going
Since
on
the
there?
characteristic
What's
profile of
under
a
him
foot
is
shows the
most likely a
arch,
child,
the
which
people
you can
wind
tell
up
by the
having two
hairstyle.
left or two
Oh, okay.
right feet.
It just
You
looks like a
can't
very
always-
small person.
Yeah.
Like-
That's the thing too with
The
Egyptian
nobleman
artists. Sometimes
was the most important person
they,
in the painting.
they use size to
Mhm.
determine
So he was shown
hierarchy.
much
So
larger
if
than
you see
his
someone
wife and
that's
daughter.
smaller, that doesn't necessarily mean it's showing
Okay.
a child or like a
All
small
these
person.
conventions
It's just
constrained
like
the
it's a
artist
less
to paint
important
figures in
person.
specific
Ah, okay.
traditional
Yeah, that
ways.
makes sense.
The way
So he was freer in painting
the way
nature.
that you know that it's a child is typically in Egyptian art, children are shown with like a side lock where their entire head is
Mm.
shaved except for like
But
a little
scholars
side
are still
lock.
Oh,
baffled
I didn't
by a
know
few
that.
things.
Okay.
For
I
example,
learned something.
why are the nobleman's
Yeah.
hands put on backwards?
You know, I seem to remember them doing that
But
in
his wives
medieval
and
art
daughters
too.
are
It's like
shown the
usually
normal way.
in a certain era, like Christ and apostles and things like
Yeah.
that are drawn kind of taller than other
Mhm.
people. So I think that like,
Yeah, it's
common.
definitely like a hierarchy thing. One of those like this is the most important person.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
The rules of
Oh,
perspective
this one's
were
I think
hard
this-
won in
yeah,
the
this one's a bit more
Renaissance
modern, yeah,
and held
Matisse.
sway over art for 500 years. But modern artists searching for new methods of expression argued that pictures don't have to be a copy of reality. They could just as well be about arranging flat areas of color and line.
Oh yeah, this is
In
what
this
we were-
painting
this-
by
this is
Matisse
what I meant
called
by, like, the
Harmony
whole, like,
in Red,
photography.
Right.
the artist intentionally
Like
left
weird
out
art.
perspective lines.
it's really
for the
interesting,
table
like how the
in order to make the
table
wall
and the
table
wall are the
appear to be
same
almost
color,
one
and yeah,
continuous
like you're saying,
surface.
it's like one continuous surface. But you can
See
still
how
kind of
different
tell
the
there's
painting
an
looks if
object
we put
there
in the
that's
edges of the table.
in the
The
foreground.
table now stands
Yeah.
out from the wall.
Hmm.
But that's not what Matisse wanted to do. He wanted to play a visual joke.
That's not what he wanted to
Have us
do.
wonder,
That's not what I
where does
wanted
the
to
tablecloth end and the wallpaper begin? The painting doesn't
God, the
look
delivery.
completely flat, however. There is the sense of depth with the scene outside the window.
But that's not what I
It seems
want.
to go back.
Very neat. Cool. All right. Well,
Hello.
hello. Wait, one more.
I think
Eight-
that's I think that's
ABC.
Alexander. I think that's
Hellenistic.
Alexander the
Yeah,
Great.
This
wow,
is a
look
mosaic
at this.
that the Romans copied
Mhm.
from a Hellenistic painting. It shows the
That's,
Battle of
old
Issus
Alexander
fought
over
between
there.
Alexander and the Persian king
I think
Darius
this is a
III
mosaic.
in
I'm actually not
333
100%
BC.
Oh,
Classical Greek and Roman artists
what is this? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
mosaic.
mosaic.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome.
This is a
Well, I've
Yeah, and-
certainly had a a big perspective on art tonight. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, nothing. I think I was just saying that like in that one you could see Alexander the Great, but
Mhm.
and his opponent, but they kind of have weird armor.
They do, yeah. Well, I think we've had a good tour of ArtRageous. I definitely I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this. I don't think I even played it this much as a kid. I don't remember going through like every single, area like that.
Yeah.
It was definitely really fun to have you as like kind of a guide to like talk about like, your own thoughts on everything and talk about like our favorite artists and things like that. So just want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight and playing this
Of
this
course.
silly little 90s game, right?
This game is awesome. Yeah, like I would have loved to have something like this as a kid, but yeah, it did show like a lot of really cool art and
Mhm.
the whole thing with me being able to like call some of the art paintings and stuff is not necessarily because like I'm a master art historian or anything.
Sure.
But this game definitely chose a lot of very iconic artworks that just do a really good job of highlighting like, oh yeah, perspective and light and color and
Right.
but yeah, it's nice to kind of like walk down memory lane with, because a lot of these I learned about in like art 101, 102
Right,
like,
right.
from my college days. So it was nice. It's really nice to explore that. So thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
opportunity.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So, all right,
Of
I think
course.
we'll call it here. So, thanks again, Binka. I wanna do more art streams with you sometime
Let's
for
do
sure.
it.
Are
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are you
let's
do you have like architecture experience? Do you know much about architecture? Because that's like another thing I'm like really interested in.
So no.
No? Okay, good. Me
Other
neither.
than Gothic architecture, yeah.
Okay,
It's funny because
okay.
the only reason why I know a lot about Gothic architecture is because that's the one class that I didn't fail, but I got a C. And like, every class that I ever get a C in, it stays with me because I'm like, oh, why did I get a C in this class?
Right.
But I love Gothic architecture and I can talk about it on end, but everything else, no. I don't know. It's like my hyper fixation with architecture.
That's all good. It's all good. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
yeah.
we'll come up with something to do again sometime. So thank you again for coming on, Mechanics. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. How about you teach a Gothic architecture collab stream? Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So I am wishing you all a great rest of your evening. Thank you for coming out tonight, and we will see you again later. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Bye bye.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.